Yeah, I feel like on mine, I just came up with pretty solid categories for this season. Like,
Well, like stats or just like other stuff.
nah, one of my categories is like scoring boom. So it's just like different questions about basically this season's like insane scoring. And then there's like on the move, which is players who like were on the move, which could cover like the off season and the season. So like this whole like league year,
Yeah.
starting back from like the end of last year's finals. And then one of them was just like stats. So I was just gonna be like, this is this player's stats, maybe with like one hint or something, like a conference or something, and say like, guess this player's stats. And then I can't remember what the fourth one was. Oh, it was like iconic moments. So it'll be like moments that happened throughout the season, but some will be a little bit more obscure than others, obviously for difficulty. And then there's like a miscellaneous section.
Okay.
For the on the move questions though, I gotta balance it, man, because we just did the trade deadline one last week. So I'm like, wait, I gotta make sure that this question was not used already.
Had to go watch some film.
There will not be any Mason Plumlee.
Almost included
Plum on the pod.
Almost included Plumlee, but I didn't.
But no, my like 100s are like giveaways, and then my like 500s are like, bro, if you get this, you got 500 IQ.
That's how the college one is. Like the 100s are like y'all should get them, like pretty easily. Like should.
One of them gonna be like, what school Devin Booker go to?
They're easy like that. Like they're fairly simple.
Yeah.
What school Damian Lillard go to?
I think Tyrik might learn today that he's overestimating my college knowledge, but that's okay.
Nah, I would be surprised.
And that's with me trying to get better at it this week because I didn't know nothing before this week.
I can tell you the best players in basketball might play for the Buckeyes right now after that Big Ten tournament run, man.
Sadly, they're not playing any postseason basketball.
Unfortunately, I think they could have had an at-large chance if they won the tournament. They could have had an at-large chance.
No, if they won a tournament, they're in. If you win a tournament, you're in.
Yeah, it's an automatic bid.
And at-large is like if you don't win the tournament, but your resume is good enough to get in. That's at-large. Like they wasn't.
You think they would have got that if they made like the conference final? If they beat Purdue, made the conference tournament final?
No shot.
They was 13th in the conference, bro. No way.
No shot.
They were, but hey, man, they was playing when it counted. Could have been a Cinderella run.
Maybe they was like 6th or 7th in the conference, and they went on that big run, maybe. But they wasn't even on the bubble. They were just completely out.
Yeah, and then if they were 6th or 7th in the conference, it wouldn't have been as big of a run anyways.
Right.
Man. If they were just a March version of the team and like the rest of the year, like January and February, would have been nice. They were good in November, December, and they were good in March. Unfortunately, that middle section.
They went on like that 9-game conference losing streak. That does not help.
Yeah, that's tournament.
Man, I'm gonna get absolutely exposed today in this college trivia, man. Fuck.
I've just accepted it. I know that I don't know college, and I'm okay with that.
Hey, I knew what school the man's Tyrik was with yesterday went to college at, man. I did know where Big E went to college.
I had no idea he played college football.
Yeah, man. Because when Iowa was ranked number 2 last year, he went to the game.
I expected him to be
I
expected him to be a bigger dude, like taller. He wasn't that
Oh
tall.
no, Biggie, but he's like 5'10", but
I don't know why, but like on TV, he just looks bigger. Maybe it's because like he's big, but I expect him to be a little
I'm
taller.
about to say because he's massive, bro.
Yeah. Nah, cool dude though. Very cool guy. Very cool. I wanted to ask him so bad, like, because people just kept stopping him. Like, hey, can we get a picture? Can we get a picture? He's real cool about it, but I just wanted to ask, like, does that get annoying? I feel like personally, like that would just like I would be tired of that because I'm such an introverted person. Like, I would get very tired of that.
Yeah, that's what that would drive me crazy pretty quick. I guess to some extent you get used to it, but
yeah, I'm sure it's probably cool for like like when you see little kids and stuff like that's probably really cool. But
yeah, for sure.
Grown adults stopping me, I'll probably like get tired of that. Like, all right.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, I think I should be good whenever you guys are here. I'm
good as Gabe.
We're live.
You gotta get the coffee in.
Man, you gotta stop playing with me. Like that's crazy. Man, you going?
We were sitting here. I'm like, bro, there's no way he's still asleep. Like, no way.
Hey, bro, you going? You in Columbus right now?
Yeah.
We doing chest after, bro. We taking it. I'm taking it personal.
I can't. I told you I got my call with my mentor. We can go after. What time does Planet close on Sundays?
7.
I'll probably be done at like. Oof. There's no telling for real. Could be 6. Could be after 6.
Probably not today. Then probably not today.
What time are you leaving tomorrow?
I'm leaving today. I gotta go to like my dad's tonight. He's having a thing.
Bro, my arms still hurt from Friday. My forearms are like tight.
Doing over 100 curls got my biceps better than they've been got in a long time.
I can barely like straighten my arm, bro. Like it hurts so bad.
That extra 2 pounds, man, it got you.
Yeah, them 12s were not kind, bro. Doing 100 reps.
Yeah, that's rough. Okay, I'll get us going here if we're good. I think I got everything live and ready.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. Today, we're going to be discussing some 6 Man of the Year conversations after the recent run of good play from Immanuel Quickley. We'll also be discussing, as requested by Gabe, whether the Kings actually are better than the Denver Nuggets. And we'll also be discussing some of the madness going on at the bottom of the Eastern Conference play-in tournament, as the Wizards might end up slipping out and it might end up being a lot closer than we had initially anticipated. We'll also be doing some NBA college player trivia. The master of that will be the one initiating the trivia this week, so me and Gabe will get to show everyone how lackluster our NBA college knowledge is. But from that being said, we will start off with our 6 Man of the Year discussion, and I'll start off with you, Gabe. As we've mentioned, Immanuel Quickley has been playing very good over the last few weeks. He's fully inserted himself into the conversation for 6 Man of the Year. The headliners being him and Malcolm Brogdon, of course, Bobby Portis, Tyrese Maxey, Norm Powell, or some other names in the conversation. But I'll ask you, Gabe, as of today, who would you pick to win 6 Man of the Year?
You know, I think at this point in the season, I would still probably go with Malcolm Brogdon. I just think the way he fit into that roster and the way that he's just been consistently kind of in that conversation, being one of the top 6 men throughout the whole season, I feel like people weren't really talking about Immanuel Quickley and honestly this Knicks team as a whole until probably like around All-Star break, but especially after like the Josh Hart trade, big win streak. So for that, I think it's one of those mid to late season, somebody else is going to make a push the thing that always comes to my mind is like that Paul George MVP in 2019. It's always that guy that makes that mid to late season push and comes close. But I just think that Malcolm Brogdon said a strong argument the entire year, so I would still go with him.
Paul George was not close, bro. We've had this discussion before.
But he made that. People started talking about it, man, because people always want to talk about somebody else.
It was like Blake Griffin finishing third back in 2014. Like that's the kind of vibes that Paul George run was. But I agree with Gabe though. It's still Malcolm Brogdon's award to lose because he's just been so steady all season long off that Celtics bench. And a lot of Quickley's like big games have been when he's been a starter, So he kind of got to factor that in. Brogdon's pretty much been off the bench no matter who's been in the rotation. He might have started a couple games, but pretty much I would say 90% of the season he's been off that bench. So he's been steady for Boston off the bench. Has had some really big games for them off the bench, especially when guys have been down with injury, when Marcus Smart missed a bunch of time. He stepped in, had some like 25, 30-point games off that bench. But, Quickley has been surging. I think like Bobby Portis' injury allowed somebody else to jump into the conversation because before that, it was really just a two-man race between Portis and Brogdon. And at that point, I thought it was really like, whoever you prefer, because Bobby Portis was averaging like a double-double off the bench and Brogdon was doing his thing. But I would still stick with Brogdon, but it's good to see Quickley and the Knicks play really good basketball. Hopefully Jalen Brunson gets healthy because, we were talking a little before the podcast, like they're a much different team down the stretch without Jalen Brunson on the floor. They definitely need his offense in late game situations. So hopefully he's healthy. But I do like seeing Immanuel Quickley, reassert himself into the conversation, especially because we were also talking about like he could get an extension this offseason. So, it's definitely great for him to be playing his best basketball.
Definitely good timing for him. Even further to your point about Brogdon, he hasn't started a single game this year, so he's fully been off the bench. He's been that guy for the Celtics as that sixth man throughout the entire season. And like you guys said, he's just had that more consistent from game one to today season than Quickley has had. And that's not to say that Quickley was bad earlier in the season, but he was not as good as he's been over the last few weeks. The one edge I'd give to Quickley is the fact he has played 12 more games. And the fact that he has been so elite defensively as well, alongside his offensive production. And that's a part of his game that's fallen a bit under the radar, but has been very impactful for this Knicks team. But that being said, like you guys said, Brogdon's just been a much more productive player throughout the entirety of the season. So unless Brogdon gets an injury or just really fails to perform down the stretch of the season here, I'd imagine it would be his award. At this point in time, at least. But like you guys said, fair play to Quickley to get himself in the conversation, and definitely deserves to be in the conversation based on how he's played over the last few weeks and helped the Knicks go on such a good run.
Glad you mentioned this defense. I was just going to say, I'm glad you mentioned this defense because, like, when he came into the league, that's one thing I thought he could be really good at because he has, like, an insanely long wingspan for being like 6'2", 6'3". I think he's like a 6'10" wingspan. So it's good to see him like really tapped in on that side of the floor.
Yeah. I think also like a big hole kind of opened up in the conversation because, we talked about it like pretty much all season where I really think Russ was in there for sixth man of the year. And now that Russ is a starter on the Clippers, it's like I would have to look at his actual games played. I don't know if it surpassed 41 off the bench, but if it did, like, I think he would still technically be there, but I think it's mainly going to kill his chances by starting too many games now, even if he would technically still qualify for the award. But the way he was playing, I think the only thing that still would have given me Brogdon over him is the fact that the Celtics were a way better team. And especially now in hindsight, looking at the rest of the season, like, even if they still considered Russ, you got to look at, how much better are the Lakers now that he's not there? And I know that's a lot more nuanced than just remove Russ because they added a lot of pieces as well. But it kind of killed his chances dead in the water.
I wonder if has there been a sixth man that's been on like a sub 500 team like the Lakers have been?
I'm not sure.
Off the top of my head. Like maybe like one of those Clipper teams that Lou Will was on wasn't great. I feel like they were like a playoff team at least.
Hey man, the Lakers about to be a playoff team.
Because Lou Will won it in 2019, but the Clippers were still decent then.
They were 8 seed that year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the last time that would have been. It's probably been a minute. I'm looking down the list of teams of guys that have won the award here, and I'm not seeing anything in the last 17 years of teams that I can vividly remember that makes me think they were a bad team. Seen a lot of Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, J.R. Smith in 2013 with the Knicks, James Harden,
All good.
Lamar Odom on the 2011 Lakers, Jason Terry with the Mavs, Ginobili.
So technically, the 2017-18 Clippers, where Lou Will won it that year, they finished 10th in the conference, and that was pre-play-in, so they did not play any postseason basketball.
Sure.
So, but they still did finish 42-40, so they were a winning team.
Okay.
It's one of those years where the West was so deep that, I know he's not on there anymore, but as far as a player winning it on a bad team, the Lakers right now are in 9, and somebody won it in 10. But in his time there, the Lakers were 13.
Yeah, and they were well under 500. So
hey, we might have to have a Lakers discussion on this podcast, man, because I'm really liking what I'm seeing recently out of them.
Don't we talk about them every week?
But I feel like I don't know, man. Just what they've been doing recently, they beat some decent teams, play good defense, they defend well.
Good. They're back to kind of their identity when they were a good team.
Yeah,
defensively, we're going to be good, which is that's how they should have been playing basketball this whole time. Which it's tough to do that when you don't have the pieces. A lot of that was Pelinka just making piss poor decisions, but he's trying to redeem himself. He's made some really good moves this season. Obviously, the Vanderbilt move was what they needed because he fills in a lot of the gaps defensively that otherwise would be exploited. Without him on the floor. So, he's been very good for them. AD's been playing great defense as well. And just overall, the team looks a lot more engaged defensively. Even though LeBron's not playing, he seems a lot happier about their current situation. So, if they get into the dance, man, they got a chance to maybe make a little bit of noise, if they get in. But there's still a lot more work that needs to be done for them.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, still lots of work that needs to be done. We've still got 10, 15 games down the stretch here, but like you alluded to, defense has been great. They look a lot more comfortable as a team. And we talked about them a lot last week, but I'll just say this much. Feel very good about saying they were going to be in the top half of the play-in last week. And D'Angelo Russell needs to not torch the Raptors as much. And that's all I have to say.
No, yeah. That take is looking better already because I was oh, yeah, I have them getting in at 10 or either 9 or 10, whichever one of them are Portland and losing in the first playing game. And now I'm just dude, they're a game and a half out of 6. And if the Warriors got a lot of road games coming up, they're probably going to drop those. And the Lakers have been way better than the Mavs and the Timberwolves since trade deadline season. So it's dude, they could for real make it a serious push. And LeBron's not even back yet. Because the most impressive thing for me was honestly, and I know it's a classic, this is how games go against the Raptors. But they play the Raptors, and they know Nick Nurse is going to shut down your star player. And it's dude, this team, 3 weeks ago, if the stars were stopped, dude, they ain't doing nothing. But the fact that they were able to come out when AD got 8 points and still put up 120 in a game, they're not doing that before. So that was the moment for me where I'm okay, I know there's been a lot of hype, but I think it clicked.
Yeah, Anthony Davis having 8 points is crazy and still winning the game. That's nuts, man. Shout out to Debo. Yeah, shout out to Debo, man. Also, Reeves played really good that night too. So yeah, the supporting cast is a lot better than it was, a month ago. So they got a chance, man. Devin with another crazy pull. I'll give him that.
The profit.
Hey,
the profit.
I got to make some crazy pulls eventually because sometimes I'd be making some crazy misses, but eventually they got to hit.
Hey, we only remember the hits, man. Only remember.
Hey, so let's talk about your next crazy pool, man, because I was perusing the Twitter application last night and I happened to see RunTheNBA tweet something that was really surprising for me to see as somebody who talks to you on a weekly basis. And you said The Kings, Sacramento Kings, one of the best offenses in the league. However, not known nearly at all for their defense, but regardless of it, has just been winning and continuing to win, about to clinch their first winning record since who knows when. And you said they're better than the Grizzlies, a team who has a much more defensive-based identity, got Jaren back and went from one of the worst defenses in the league to literally, I think they're top 2 right now.
I think it was the Nuggets that he said on the timeline.
Oh, and the Nuggets. Sorry, the note sheet says better than the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's a typo in the sheet. But yeah, it was better than the Nuggets.
Regardless, do you think they're better than the Grizzlies as well?
I mean, given their current situation, yeah.
Then all right, the point still stands. So if you got the Kings over the Grizzlies who do that, and then the Nuggets as well, who I know Jokic is by no means a great defensive center, but much improved. Definitely, probably. I mean, the Nuggets as a team are better than the Kings as a defensive team. So, give me the take, because I did not expect that out of you all people.
Definitely not a typical take for me. I'll say this much: part of the tweet was definitely troll. It's definitely not a firm stance. But what I will say is this: I think the Denver defense statistically is looking better than the Kings defense right now, more so than it will come postseason. I don't think either of them are very good defenses, but I don't think this Denver defense is heads and tails above what the Kings have either. And that's the biggest separator for me, because both are elite offenses. And statistically, Kings are number 1, but you could argue that the Nuggets also have the best offense in the league. That's very much an argument you can make. As good as Jokic has been, as good as their shooters have been, as good as that system has been this year. Point being is that they're both going to have 2 of the worst defenses in the league, and they're both going to have 2 of the best offenses in the league. And the Kings currently have the best clutch scorer in the league, period. And Fox has just been that guy. And I currently trust the secondary options and the secondary ball creation a little bit more for the Kings as well, from what they've been getting from Monk, from the shooting they've been getting from Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, from what you can get from Sabonis. I just feel like there's a lot more of a better cohesive set of options in Sacramento come playoff time, even though this is a team we've seen in Denver come playoff time. I haven't seen Jamal Murray in a few years really do his thing in the playoffs. MPJ, I mean, his injuries have always been a question and how much he can produce in the playoffs. So I don't think there's a discernible difference between Sacramento and Denver right now for me. So you can make an argument to me either way, whether you prefer Denver or whether you prefer Sacramento. I don't think either of which are going to have a ton of playoff success because of their lack of defense. They might win a series or 2, but I don't think they're going to have that type of longevity into the finals. But as good as their offenses are, their defenses are absurdly as woeful. And because of that, I just don't think I can make that much of a discernible difference between the 2 of them. And the Kings just seem to be getting better and better. And I don't want to say Denver are getting worse, but they're impressing me less as of late than they were a few weeks ago to a month ago. And it's putting me in a spot where I can't really say the Nuggets are that much better than the Kings right now.
Yeah, I do think it's a really interesting conversation because, and I think my favorite point you mentioned there is like the secondary shot creation of the Kings and like other guys they can rely on. And it's kind of like this tandem of the Kings are, because these are the top 2 offenses in the league by a decent margin. Kings at number 1 to like number 3 is like a full 2 points. To the Nuggets is like 1.5. So pretty significant margin, but like not too gigantic. But like looking at these 2 teams, one is like, yeah, everybody's going to attack you. We might have our top guys in Sabonis and Fox, but there's a lot of guys across the board that can really hurt you. Whereas, not saying the Nuggets don't have pieces, but they're going to run through Jokic. He's probably going to have the ball, whether it's like high post or wherever he has it. He's going to make that play. And while it's usually easier to shut down one guy, I feel like Jokic has been a guy that's so unstoppable that I don't know how possible it is to even shut him down on offense. So it's like he's such an anomaly to this and has taken this team to the conference finals. So like we've seen it work in some cases, but in other cases we've seen it get exposed. I'm not really sure. But like the way this Kings team plays, especially on offense, it's like, yeah, if they get hot, they probably can beat anybody. So I just think it depends on what version of them we see in the playoffs. Because if there's some of their scores go cold, it's not going to look good at all because they're not going to be getting stops on the other side. But if they can outshoot you and outscore you, like they will give anybody a run for their money.
Yeah, their defense, both teams' defensive woes is probably what's gonna hold them back from making like a real championship type run, right? But Devin used the word like cohesive for the Kings, and like that's the best way to explain why this isn't like a ridiculously crazy discussion to have. Like when I first saw the tweet, I laughed. Like I just assumed Devin was trolling. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, there's actually a conversation here for sure because I value what having a player like a De'Aaron Fox, how he is in late game situations. And if that does translate to the playoffs, I value that a lot. Like, I think that holds a lot of weight. And like Devin said, like, we haven't seen Jamal Murray in the playoff setting since the bubble. Like, it's been a long time. That's pushing 3 years now. Like, it's been a very long time since we've seen him in that playoff, situation. And that's coming off of a major injury too, missing the entire season in that span. Like, we haven't seen him in that position. And we know what Jokic is going to do. He's going to put up his elite numbers. He's going to impact the game, right? But, we have questions about Jamal. We have questions about Michael Porter Jr. Is KCP going to be hitting shots? How is Bruce Brown going to affect the game? Is Aaron Gordon going to be able to, elevate offensively or even be, just what he is now offensively in the playoffs? Like, there's a lot of questions. And there's a lot of questions for the Kings too. But I think that's what kind of makes them, fun because they know, like, nobody really expects us to be great. They don't expect us to, make a deep run. So they're playing with house money. I think that's what makes them, a scary team to play against in the playoffs because if their offense is clicking, they could easily get up with a team in the first round that might be better than them or we expect to be better than them. But, with having De'Aaron, having those shooters in Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, and then the value of Sabonis and what he brings to the table, they're just like a wild card team. Like, we don't know what to really expect from them in the playoffs, but they're playing their best basketball as the season goes on. Like, they just keep getting better and better. People want them to fall off, but they're not going to. Like, they just keep getting better, man. So it's an interesting conversation. Would I say the Kings are better than the Nuggets? Probably not. But, would I have said the Kings would be a 2 seed as we near mid-March? No, I would not have thought that. So they're just a team that keeps surprising us, man. So, expect the unexpected from them. We don't know what their ceiling could be this season, honestly.
Trade looks better and better every day, I'm going to be honest. Widely panned trade.
Is it a win-win? Are there such –
I think it's a win-win.
There can't be such things as win-win trades, man.
Yeah, I think this is about as win-win as it gets because the Pacers finally get to move off of their second big, get to push towards that rebuild/retool. The Kings are a 2 seed. The Pacers have a young all-star. I mean, I don't think either team can really go wrong with that move.
You can't go from missing the playoffs 16 years in a row to now this year being in the 2 seed, like 15 games out of the playoffs. And, I mean, you had 2 all-stars on your roster this year in the West. So it's like you can't look at that trade and call it a loss. And it's probably the biggest win-win I've seen since going back to, like, somehow second mention already this episode, but when Paul George got traded to OKC for Victor Oladipo and Sabonis, like, that was a win-win for both sides.
I guess
this might be a bigger win-win though, because like the Paul George era was looking cool, but they did kind of underperform a couple times. Then
they got Shea out of that though. Like I think it took longer for that to be like a very good trade for them because they went through a couple years of Paul George, Westbrook, Melo being there, and they ended up getting Shea and hella picks.
Technically, Indiana got Tyrese out of that. Sabonis was the main piece.
Yeah,
just took a while. Just took a little extra trade in there. Good GMing by those teams, man. That's crazy. That's just like a crazy parallel. Like both teams got like their future guards through like an extra trade that involved older all-star. Well, Sabonis isn't older, but middle-aged all-star.
Sabonis damn near got better this year, man. Like he was already hooping, but he was like an all-star reserve both years. I know the front court was kind of thin this year, but like even with everybody healthy, he still would have just been a regular all-star pick.
Yeah, I think 1 year he was like a replacement. I
thought he was a replacement both years.
I think one he was a replacement, if I'm pretty sure. I think the second year because KD was hurt. First year I think he got in just outright. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Shout out to the Sabonis, man. I was watching their game against the Knicks the other night, and it was just like, this is so fun. Like sometimes, like Malik Monk will have a game where he's not doing anything. Like I think a game last week, he had like 2 minutes in the first half. Like he only played 2 minutes in the first half, and just had a bad game. And then there was a game against the Knicks where like I don't know what his final numbers ended up being like, but it seemed like he went on a stretch where he scored like 20 straight points. Like he was not missing anything. He was taking crazy shots, sidestep from the wing. He was hitting everything. It's just like you don't know who it's going to be from this Kings team from night to night. Like I think Barnes was the leading scorer last night against the Suns. Like it's just a different guy. It seems like it can be every night, but then when it gets down the stretch, you know the ball's going to be in number 5's hands, and he's going to get the shot that he wants. It's just a matter of him making or missing the shot.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're on the topic of the Kings, shout out to Kessler Edwards as well for some very good minutes last night against the Suns. If the Kings can get a little bit more defense on the wing, then that's definitely not going to hurt them, even if he just gets a few spot minutes here and there.
Definitely changes things, man.
That I feel like people don't talk about that Kentucky chemistry enough either, man. De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, like that's a I do know what school they went to. And dude, I remember going into that draft, I'm like, bro, both of these dudes are just ridiculous. And going back, like they combined for 87 in one game earlier this season, that super high scoring game against the Cliffs. And Malik Monk is impressive, man. He's impressed me as well. I think he's like, of those secondary guys, he's my favorite. I don't know if he's the best because they got a lot of good dudes over there, but he's my favorite.
I mess with Monk. I think Red Velvet's my guy though, man. Herder's my guy.
Herder's definitely had a great season for sure. Yeah, they just got a ton of guys who can shoot the ball. I mean, talking about Monk, Herder, Trey Lyles been having a good shooting year. Barnes, Keegan, Kessler Edwards comes in and hits a few threes. Like so many guys that can shoot the ball.
Even Chimezi might have a random game here and there like that. Just such a fun team, man. Like you can tell they're just enjoying their year. And I think Mike Brown has to be coach of the year at this point. Like it's probably not close, man. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla, but nah, it's got to be Mike Brown.
It's runaway, man. It's runaway.
It should
Definitely.
Joe Mazzulla, he did a good maintenance job on a team that some people expected to have a little stumble, but like this Sacramento team that's different. This is like a culture setting year. Like I feel like they have a culture now.
This is first year there too, which is just like
yeah, that's crazy.
Like imagine like the odds, like if you could bet the Kings being like a top 2 seed in the conference. You're probably walking away with a lot of money, man.
Whoever bet Kings over on wins, I tell you, I don't think they were projected to be a above 500 team in the offseason. And if they were, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 games away from clinching a winning record.
I remember looking at I'll look at everybody's preseason. I don't remember I feel like it was like 34 wins or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what the line is, but it's already hit. I know that much. It's definitely already hit. It's
if they beat Milwaukee tomorrow, man. If they beat Milwaukee tomorrow, I'm gonna start dropping some wild takes, man. If you beat the Suns and the Bucks back to back, and those are like 2 of the 3 top contenders.
We're already dropping wild takes, man.
It's crazy how far, like how much can change in a year, man. A year ago, we were disrespecting the Kings on this podcast weekly, and now we're giving them 10-minute segments praising them.
If the Wizards are a 1 seed next year, man, I'm sick.
That's not happening.
No, that's not happening. I was gonna say, Wizards fans, this is your hope, but it's probably not gonna happen. So
Gabe took it too far. Gabe took it too far.
y'all would have said that about the Kings a year ago, man. You'd have been like, they traded their up and coming guard. They might compete for a play-in spot with Sabonis, but to be fair, they did have a really good offseason that changed a lot of things. But a year ago, I don't know, man. I think we'd be talking on the Kings names the same way. Like that ain't gonna happen. Ain't no way. De'Aaron Fox cool, but he's not like a star.
That's fair.
the difference is that the Kings had 2 up-and-coming guards, and the Wizards don't. So they just don't have an avenue to get to that point right now because the only move they're making is Kuzma sign and trade or moving off of Porzingis and things for something, which isn't happening. Like, there's just no avenues there. So, I mean, the only avenue that they could have is they just full commit to a rebuild, which I'd be happy for them, but they'd probably be the 14 or the 15 seed next year. So there's definitely not a world where they're the Kings next year. That's for sure.
Unless Johnny Davis just comes out of nowhere.
I don't know, man. Somehow the Wizards are always like the first 3 weeks of the season, like super team. Like I feel like the Wizards are just always good at the very beginning of the year, and they start like 8-3, and everybody's like, "Dang, are the Wizards nice this year?" And then they lose like 7 straight, and it's like,
they tricked me last year. They didn't. They did not get me this year, man.
I'm familiar with your game, man. You cannot fool me.
Yeah. Not the Wizards, man. We always come back to the Wizards. We might have to like put them on the ban list. Yeah, except we're probably about to have to talk about them again because of the plan. But
who's on the ban list? Is there an active ban list? Because I feel like it was like Ben Simmons was the ban list, but then he finally got traded to the Nets, and then he finally started playing for the Nets. The Lakers might have been on the ban list, but they finally made trades and looked good.
John Collins during trade season, he's on the ban list.
Yeah, definitely.
Trade season over though, so that's kind of inactive.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk.
That's inactive until the off season.
We're not going to talk about John Collins. We'll talk about the Hawks, but not John Collins. He hasn't been that good.
Other than the fact that he's on a shitty contract, but
yeah.
So be it. The Wizards are definitely going on the ban list once they get knocked out, whether it's regular season or playing, because then we're not talking about them until the draft, when they hopefully make a good draft selection finally. But track record doesn't say good things for that.
They might be the only team, man. They might. Portland would be there, but damn, it's just so good.
Yeah.
So there's no actual
talking about Portland a bit.
Yeah.
No actual ban list right now, man. We might need to make one so we stop talking about the same things.
I have a betting ban list though if you want to hear that one.
Yeah, list is that list.
Once I find somebody who's 21 to let me use their information, do some identity theft to start gambling my life savings away, I'm gonna have to take you up on that.
Oh, yeah. I actually have to add a couple people. I just added Clint Capella on there, man.
Hey, yeah, they might mess around, give him 15 minutes, give Okongwu literally the whole rest of the minutes, and Clint's not hitting his overs.
Man's had 3 rebounds the other night.
How many minutes?
He played enough. He played enough to grab more than 3 boards, bro.
25 minutes, 3 boards.
Dude, it's crazy.
Man had more made buckets than rebounds, and that does not happen very often for him.
He had 1 rebound in the first half.
Hawks makes sense when you play for the most average team in the league, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole Hawks team to me is just a team that I can't get too excited about anymore. They're just treading water. I will say I like some individuals' attention and effort to the defensive end over the last week or so with Quinn Snyder in town.
Yeah.
Trae Young especially comes to mind, but that team still just looks very, very mediocre right now. And not that I want to harp on him a ton, but part of that is the fact that John Collins looks like a mid-role player and is getting all-star money right now, and that's a big problem. And I'm the person who's vouched for the fact that DeAndre Hunter needs to be the 3rd best guy on this team for them to be successful. That still remains the case, but it shouldn't have to be the case given the fact that John Collins is getting so much money.
$125 million, and his over-unders be at like 9.5 points. Sorry, bro. Like that's just not good, man. And he's really just regressed. Like it's sad to see, man. It's sad to see because he's so talented. Like we've seen how good he can be as a 2-way player, especially like playoff time. But he has to do that for full season for them to not always have to fight for their playoff lives in March, which is what they've been doing the last couple of years. So it's very disappointing. Hopefully if he remains on the roster, which he probably will. This Quinn Snyder move can help unlock him next season because it's definitely hard to bring a coach in in March and ask him to revamp this team all of a sudden. Definitely was a long-term move, so hopefully they can find more things that way. But I mean, I guess the positive side, like Sadiq Bey's been good for them. He's been playing some quality basketball. Trae Young seems to have found his offense a little more here recently, trying to score the ball more because he went through a stretch where he just wasn't really, hitting the shots, wasn't scoring the basketball. And DeJounte's had some big games recently too. So there's some bright sides, but yeah, they're just a very, very mid team right now and have been pretty much all year.
I think literally there was one thing that came out like a couple weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it showed the Hawks' stats. I think it was something like their record was 500, their road record and home record were both 500. It was a bunch of stats, and all of them were exactly even. This team is just committed to being literally as mid as possible.
Wasn't the Hornets like that last year too? They were 500, and a bunch of stats were scored 115 points, gave up 115 points. Road record, home record were both 500. I feel like they were in that same boat last season.
Did the Hornets finish 500? Maybe at one point they were 500, but I feel like they finished above. They finished above.
They were 43 and 39. They were the 10 seed, but they were 43 and 39.
Well, for most of the season, they were around 500. I just kept seeing those stats. They were 500 at this point. It was just the weirdest coincidence ever. But maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe y'all are just mid.
I underrated the depth of the East, man. Because if they were the 10 seed above 500, damn.
I mean, just remember that Cavs team that was looking like a team that was going to avoid the play-in for a long part of the season before their injuries hit. I mean, they were the 9 seed because they lost in the play-in, but record-wise, they were an 8 seed. And that was a team that was that good for so much of the season. So there was some good depth of records in the East last year.
It was weird. It was I think 10 games separated the 10 seed from the 1 seed last year.
Yeah, it was 10 on the dot.
Yeah,
10 on the dot.
It's wasn't that crazy elite team, but there wasn't really any team in the play-in picture that were garbage. Everybody was good.
I thought that was going to be the West this year, but Denver started to pull away a little bit. Now 10-1 is 13.5 games. So
is Denver just Miami from last year, the 1 seed? But we don't really have that much faith in them.
Is that not the 1 seed literally half the time, bro? When Utah was the 1 seed in the West, nobody thought they were going to the finals.
I feel like that's more recent than historical. I feel like historically 1 seeds have been pretty good, but the last few years, I think that's been skewed.
Yes.
Maybe you can say when the Raptors were the 1 seed when LeBron was still at Cleveland, but that's pretty much any team that wasn't Cleveland or Miami when LeBron was there and when they were the 1 seed. So, I mean, that's just LeBron being LeBron. So this is what it is. No one really truly believed, for the most part, that those teams were any favorite above a LeBron-led team. So, I mean,
we were just happy to be there.
Literally.
Even the past couple of years, though, man, when Philly was the 1 seed, we might have had some expectations, but they sure didn't live up to them.
I think the Lakers were 1 when they won the championship.
Yeah.
That might be the last 1 seed, yeah. I don't win it all.
Yeah, so.
Last year, Phoenix didn't win and Miami didn't win. Year before that was Philly and Utah, I think.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix was surprising that they didn't make it to the finals, at least the way that they lost, right? But I feel like people thought Boston or Milwaukee were the best team, in the East. I don't remember many people really thinking Miami was that team.
Miami did better than I thought they would do, to be honest. Them going down to the final shot of Game 7, if you would have said predict the playoffs that year, I think we did predict the playoffs. I probably said Miami out in the second round.
Yeah, I don't remember where I had them out, but I know I didn't call them contenders because I got a lot of shit for that when I made that video. So I definitely didn't think they were going to be a shot away from making the finals. That's for sure.
I don't remember where I had them either. I feel like I had the Raptors beating Philly last year.
I think you did. I think you
I
did
don't
in 7.
Bro,
I think
Joe-
you were the one who had them winning. As per typical, you were higher on the Raptors than both of us were. But
it was literally last season, and that series was so much closer than I remember it being. Like if you think about it,
Was
like
it?
yeah,
Was
it was because
It was a
like
6-game series, but it was like
it
game
was a
1 and
6-game
2.
series.
man,
Games
Joel
1 and
Embiid
2.
hit that crazy game winner. Joel Embiid hit that crazy like turnaround 3 game winner.
That
And if
was
he
the
doesn't hit
series. That was the series right there. That's where the series was pretty much lost.
Yeah, because if he doesn't make that shot, then the Raptors get that game, and they won game 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I mean, does that change their motivation to go in 4 and 5? I feel like they should have been even more motivated because they wouldn't have been down 3-0. So they would have been like, oh, we got a chance. So say they still win game 4 and 5, Philly wins game 6. Now all of a sudden you're in game 7. And Philly, last time they were in game 7, did quite poor.
All I'm going to say
is
that if you go back on my Twitter 10 months ago, 11 months ago, there's some tweets from me that show that I had zero hope within like the middle of game 2 of that series. I was definitely on the out from how Embiid was just absolutely destroying us in the paint.
Game 3 through 6 was some great basketball though.
It was pretty
game 5 a blowout. Game 5 was a blowout in Philly too, wasn't it?
Game 6 actually was not too good. I feel like did the Raptors blow them out?
I think game 5 was a blowout. Or it might have been like a respectable blowout.
If the Raptors got a blowout win in that series, because the Raptors won game 5. So if the Raptors got a blowout in that series,
I feel like they won by double digits, and it was like they were in control the entire game type of double digit win.
103 to 88, yeah. 103 to 88.
That's great basketball to me, man.
Game 6 we don't have to talk about, but that's okay. Any
game where the
Raptors had a chance to win that game 6. I don't know where it got away, but it got away at some point.
I'm telling you, man.
It was that Harden had a run like in the 3rd, 4th quarter that just like was like, who is this guy? He has not played like this.
Here's the thing with good playoff series. Is half the series that people remember as like all-time playoff series have like 3 good games, man. The 2016 finals has like 2 close games. Like it's like a ton of blowouts, and then maybe like game like 5 and 7 were good or something. Maybe like game 1, but like half those games, at least, were blowouts. People just remember the good stuff. I'm pretty sure like when Miami and the Spurs went 7 in 2013, a lot of those games were blowouts too. I'm pretty sure. So it's like all those all-time playoff series that people talk about, like there's still a ton of blowouts. It's just like that game 3 when Embiid comes down, hits that shot, dude. I always forget that like that might be the best highlight of his career. A turnaround 3 game winner in the playoffs.
I guess.
But he was playing out of his mind, man. I was about to call him the best basketball player on earth.
I've been there before. Been there before. Yeah. How do we even get on this topic? I don't even know how.
We're talking about the Hawks and then
one seeds who don't go all the way.
Yes.
One seeds,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Well, let's talk about the former 1 seed of Miami. Why we were talking about teams in the East playing, because they're not looking very good right now, and at the same time, Brooklyn are looking pretty good. So Miami might be stuck in a play-in after being the 1 seed last year and being a shot away from the finals. And now Jimmy is having to pull out his playoff self in the middle of March, which is a little bit worrisome.
I mean, that's what happens when you're paying Kyle Lowry $30+ million to not do shit. And you don't make any moves in the offseason to, at least try and get better from being a shot away from the NBA Finals. They didn't really do anything in the offseason notable. So they're just kind of they're getting what they kind of were looking for. Like they didn't make any significant moves. You're paying Kyle Lowry all this money, and he's nowhere near the player that he was a few years ago. So it's just kind of like you said, Jimmy Butler has to put on that cape and try and play playoff basketball in early March, which is not what he wants to do, which is not what this team wants to do. But that's just what happens when you don't try and capitalize on the success that they had last season. Like we just kind of talked, like they might have overachieved last year, being as close as they were to the NBA Finals, but can't come back with not even the same roster or worse roster and expect similar results. That's insanity.
They've overachieved the last couple of years, man. Like for literally the whole Jimmy Butler era, they've been overachievers. I feel like the roster is never as good, but like I just poor management all around, like which is so out of character for this franchise. But I mean, no trades at the trade deadline, nothing in the offseason. You left yourself with like no wings. And then now you come down to it and it's like, oh, we'll get some guys in the buyout market. They're not really doing anything significant at all. Like Kevin Love's playing some minutes, but he's not really playing great minutes. And so at the end of the day, like they're still just relying on Jimmy. And, he went out and gave him 38 last night and it wasn't enough. They lost by 12. Like, I mean, at that point, what can you even say? Like Jimmy Butler, yeah, he's putting on the cape and he's trying to carry him. But it seems like it's to a point now where like, is carrying him even enough? If he wants to drop almost 40 and you lose to the Magic, I know the Magic have been better recently than we give him credit for, but like, no trust. And I still think if they end up as like the 7-8 matchup in the play-in, and they only got to win one playing game out of two, I think they'll make it. But like, they're not winning a playoff series. They're definitely not winning a playoff series. There's absolutely no way. Because if they want to be in this playing range, like Philly are notorious folders, so maybe you got a chance if you can make 6. But like, if they're gonna be in the playing range, dude, they're not beating the Celtics or the Bucks, and they're gonna get washed.
You giving them a 0% chance
against the Celtics or the Bucks? Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm giving them a 0% chance.
Against Celtics, I'll give them a 10% chance, just because they just decided to play great basketball against the Celtics.
You're a Celtics fan. You're saying things, man. You're saying things.
I'm telling you, man. Like Jimmy Butler turns into Michael Jordan. Their shooters turn into Steph, Clay. All of them. It's just so weird how they play against Boston.
Tell me about it, man. When the Raptors and the Celtics play, Marcus Smart decides he wants to shoot like 60% from 3 for the series. So
yeah. I don't know. Teams just decide to elevate against whoever it is.
But yeah. You guys touched on it. Miami have just decided to not make moves, and they're reaping the benefits or the lack of benefits of that as a result of those decisions. And unfortunately, it means that they're probably going to have to go through the play-in unless the Knicks or the Nets have a really tough collapse over the last little bit and the Heat actually put a good string of games together. And it probably means they're going to have to play the Bucks or the Celtics. And like you say, Tyrik, I'm probably not as harsh as a 0% chance, just because we still did see them play so well last year in the playoffs, and Jimmy is still there and their defense is still so good, but it's just not enough at this point in time to really put any more confidence in them than that. And they just really seem like they're a lot more closer to the rest of the teams in the play-in than they are to anyone else above them, other than maybe Brooklyn.
What are the chances that they miss the play-in, or miss the playoffs in general?
Miami to miss the play-in is 0. They're making the play-in.
That's why I said I meant playoffs.
Okay, but
them to miss the play-in would be like damn near
the Bulls.
That would
like
have
the
to
Bulls
be an otherworldly collapse, and the Wizards or the Pacers / the Bulls would have to just go crazy. That'd be wild.
We're looking at Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, Washington.
Yeah,
I mean Indy's there too, but nah, we're not really including Indy.
Most of the things you can say about the Heat, you can say about the Bulls too.
I mean, look,
So, like,
I don't
know.
I can't discount the Pacers here. They do have the best record in their last 10 games of any team fighting for the play-in right now. So,
But would they be one of the reasons why Miami would miss the playoffs? I don't know.
honestly, at this point, with any of those like 6 teams, I don't know if I can discount anything because all of them are exceptionally mid. And I have no more confidence in one over the other than a team that just decides to not play defense. And none of them are like terrible defensively. Obviously, Miami are the best of the bunch, but Chicago have been good defensively. Toronto have been good defensively. The Hawks can have their moments. The Wizards have had good stints defensively. Like, none of them are terrible defensive teams. So I don't know if I really feel that good about any of them other than the fact that Miami have Jimmy and Atlanta have Trey. And those are the guys I'm the most confident about getting their team out of a play-in tournament game in a single elimination.
Yeah, that makes all the difference in the world is having guys that can win a game.
But you know about the Raptors, man. The Raptors will shut down your star player and make somebody else do it, even if they're wide open. So I don't know, man. If they go up against if the Raptors can get through the Bulls and they get to like the Hawks, even if they get to the Heat, man, they might throw everything at Jimmy. And this Heat roster, I don't know if they're doing it, man. We talked about Bam said he's taking this many shots per game. I do not see Bam as like going up a tier this year. So it's like I don't know, man.
The Raptors also have a bunch of guys that are like the streakiest shooters I've ever seen in my life, man. Like OG will have a game where he's like 4-4, then he'll go 0 of 8 from 3. Gary Trent will have a game where he scores 20, and then he'll have a game where he scores 4. Like it, just the most hot and cold guys. Like, and in a playing situation, it takes one game to be hot, or it takes one game to be cold, and your season could be over.
Not to mention the fact that Gabe Vincent probably drops 25 on us while we throw 3 guys at Jimmy. So,
right,
that's the great downside that no one other than Raptors fans like to talk about for that shutting down the star system. It works great if the guys don't hit the looks, but when guys hit the looks like the Lakers do the other night, then goddamn do you get torched. It's an ugly, ugly sight on nights like that.
Raptors playing box hand 1 on Jimmy Butler, man. It's about to be scary.
A boxing 1 against Jimmy is like nuts. That's
hey, well, sometimes I do use that word to describe Nick Nurse. He is the mad scientist.
Nuts, insane.
Unfortunately, he doesn't quite have the personnel that he once had when he was boxing 1 in. Nor is that personnel as good as they were a year ago defensively, especially a certain Fred VanVleet. But
did Steph still drop like 47 against a boxing 1 in the finals?
That's his highest scoring playoff game ever, I'm pretty sure. Was that game 2 against the Raptors in the finals where they were playing boxing?
Game 2? I thought that was like game 3 or 4.
I think it was game. I thought it was game.
It was in Golden State, wasn't it?
It was the first one Clay missed. So it either was 2 or 3.
It was.
I feel like it was. I thought it was 2 because
3 or 4. Because they was in the Bay when that happened, and y'all had home court.
Did they lose that game? Did they lose the game that they were?
Yeah.
The Warriors lose the game because like I thought the box and 1 game was the game that Iguodala hit the game winner, which was game 2.
That was game 2. That was game 2.
My series knowledge is off, man. I remember 1, 5, 6 in the end of 2.
You was only like 12 years old at the time, though, so it does make sense why your memory might be a little off.
I'm sorry that I wasn't 35 when that happened, man. It's okay.
That's fair.
Man, so how was it watching Michael Jordan in his prime, Tyrik? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I cannot attest to watching him in his prime.
With your age, I thought you definitely would have been there.
I'm not that old.
No, he was just courtside for the Wizards days.
Yeah, man, I was definitely courtside, man. Definitely courtside.
I see. Hey, but back to the play-in though. As far as who's making it, bro.
I'm standing on what I said last week.
Me too.
Tyrese's been hooping, man. Tyrese's been hooping. I think Tyrese will get them to 10, man. I'm telling you right now.
Give me the Bulls, man. Pat Bev.
The Bulls stink. But
They're
give
the
me
10th seed.
give me
It
the
wasn't the
Raptors
10th
over
seed.
either because the Raptors are gonna throw 4 guys at Tyrese. And I mean, hey, Buddy's gonna be making wide open threes all
Give
night.
me a DeMar masterclass in Toronto in the 9-10 game.
Oh, DeMar masterclass in Toronto. I'm wearing a DeMar Raptors jersey the following day. I'll tell you that.
He's
You
not
will
a real
see
Raptor.
me. You will see me in class. Come on, bro. Real Raptors fans still love DeMar.
We're a Raptors fan.
Stop playing with
No,
me, man.
trust me. I still love DeMar. If he drops 30 on our heads and sends us out of the play-in, I do not love DeMar for a few days.
That's poetic. That's poetic justice.
No,
man.
that
He
is not
deserves
poetic
that, bro.
justice. That is not poetic justice.
They used
That is
him
a terrible
they
day
used
for
him
Raptors
as a
fans.
blood sacrifice
Yeah,
to
and
get
that'll
a
be
ring.
coming back to ruin us and ruining my mood for the next week.
He's not a real Raptors fan, man.
He deserves it, bro.
Blasphemous.
I'm
It's
sorry,
wild.
man. DeMar helped me fall in love with the game of basketball, man.
He's not a real Raptors
I'm
fan.
sorry.
Man, he helped me too, but I'm still not going to be happy if Lowry drops 20 off the bench to beat us in the play-in. Like, I'm just not about it.
Gosh.
Just not about it. If he wants to go drop 20 on the Hawks in the play-in, I'll support him then, but not for the
Dang.
48 minutes of game time where he's dropping them against us.
If
No
the
shot.
Hawks win the first playing game, if it started right now, the Raptors' road to the playoffs would be beating DeMar and Kyle back to back. That's crazy. Well, it's not really beating Kyle because he's like not even a top probably 4 player on that team.
Beating the backup
but-
point guard.
Honestly,
I
I
don't
know
know,
who's coming off the bench. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean Vincent's just the better
He's-
point guard at this point.
He is. He was better in the playoffs last year, but they
Yeah.
keep to give Kyle minutes, which I was like, thank you, I guess.
Yeah,
Kyle, didn't Pat Riley have some comments about trying to get him in shape? I don't know if Kyle went out and did that, man. I don't know about that one.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Larry.
I don't know.
One of my favorite players. Unfortunately, his peak is past him, man. That's not the 6-time All-Star anymore.
My least
Well,
favorite.
there was a lot of Raptors fans that were ready to give Ujiri a lot of tough times for that trade, but as much as Achua has been up and down this year, definitely was right to get off of Lowry when they did. That's for sure. Considering he is quite literally getting paid $30 million to be a backup point guard right now.
Yeah, if he was gonna get $30 million from the Raptors, like if he wasn't gonna take some crazy hometown discount, yeah, man, that's necessary.
Shout out to the GMs that know to get off those older franchise guys when the time is right. You can set your franchise back many years by trying to, show that loyalty. Sometimes you got to, make the business decision.
Washington.
I was going to say, any other teams, they need to keep that in mind right now, man.
It might be a few, man.
Any rosters, they got to cut their losses, man.
Washington should have moved Beal. Portland should have moved Dame. It's the first two that come to mind. Those are the obvious ones.
Some teams did it right, man. I don't want to, AD wasn't aging, but I think the Pelicans made the right decision getting off him while his value was at its highest.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to lose him anyways, so that was a good move.
Honestly, yeah, the fact that they could have lost him for nothing and got back as much as they did is kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to be a Laker, so like you say, the fact they got that much was a really good move.
That's close to like when Carmelo went to the Knicks. Like he could have just left for nothing, but they traded him like a couple months early and then got like the entire Knicks roster back.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if there's any other teams that I have to say that about anymore, though, because the biggest other one was the Pacers, and they've done what they needed to do. I don't even know what the Bulls anymore, because I don't know. The Bulls are just – they're in such a weird spot.
Yeah, what I don't even know what the value of their players would be if they got off of them.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Vooch isn't impending, so you're not getting anything for him anyways other than a sign-and trade. And Levine's on a deal a lot bigger than most teams would like to take, and DeMar probably doesn't have that much value compared to how good he is for Chicago. So, like, they
Right.
probably don't get much compared to the at least talent on paper that they have.
Zach is probably the guy that fits best on other rosters, but like fit wise, like DeMar, because if somebody's trading for DeMar, you're thinking they're probably trading for him as like a bona fide second or third option. And I don't know how good he fits as that, especially now, especially a team who's trying to actively buy and build. Like, I don't know what teams are looking to acquire a player his age of his skill set.
They do need a Jeremy Grant replacement. He can start playing power forward again.
Jeremy Grant just got there too. It's crazy.
That would be the type of move. But yeah, DeMar's going to be a weird player for that because it's not like it hasn't been discussed. But I don't know how he'll fit on a team once he's not the guy.
Oh yeah,
because he just seems like a guy whose skill set is very much tailored to. He needs the ball in his hands, and he's very good with it until Father Time catches up to him, and he's not. And he might just fall out of the league pretty quickly from that point. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's the type of guy who's just more than okay with that, and he just goes off into the sunset, and we never hear from him again. He could be one of those types of guys, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, Levine's getting paid $40 million next year. So that contract is going to be fun to move if they decide to do so.
Hey man, if DeMar's going right on the end of the bench, just fall out of the league. Sign a 1-year contract with Toronto, man. Just come back, ride it out. You don't even got to play real minutes. Get in occasionally. Just have a good time, man. I was showing that level of respect, but that's my bias coming in again.
I mean, right now we'll take any type of depth, so sure.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I don't know if you want depth as DeMar DeRozan when he's like 37, 38.
I mean, it's got to be better than what we got right now. So, all due respect to our bench, it is getting ruined right now because our starters were plus 27 against the Lakers the other night, and we lost by double digits. Like, come on now. Like, come on. That bench is just not getting it done.
The Lakers bench is just too good, man.
And ours is the worst in the league, but that's okay. I'll just suffer with it for another month and then pray that we make moves this offseason. And we need to draft well. That's the most important thing this offseason. Our pick needs to actually be someone good.
Hopefully it will be.
Hey man, I would love to see a Raptors playoff appearance, but at the same time, I would like for that pick to be a little bit better, man. I would like to see that pick be a little bit better.
We're past that. We're past that. We've traded for Podol, man. I ain't settling for no finishing 12th in the conference and getting pick 9 instead of pick 15.
That's why I rated the deadline so lowly, man. Because I'm like, bro, like we're out here, like we traded for Podol, bought in 3 games, like we were 1 game below 500, and then what happened? Now we're 4 games below 500. Like they were right there. They don't want to get it done, man. They don't want to get it done. So it's like y'all should have just taken the L, just bought him out, get Scotty a nice little co-star, and liquidate some of them assets, man.
I don't mind it though, because the thing is, like, we don't need like another starter. We just need guys who contribute outside of the top 5 or 6 dudes. And right now, there's just no one who consistently does it other than maybe Boucher. But he might get moved this summer, so I don't know. It's just, I'd be happier having like a mid-first and a late-first than pick 8 right now going into this year's draft, personally.
I don't know, man. If they want to be good, I think of those top 5 or 6 guys, like 2 got to be out of there, and they need to get like a starting quality, like a real playmaking point guard. Because Fred VanVleet's always been better as an off-ball guard, and besides that, they don't really have somebody who I would consider a starting point guard on the roster. Need that.
Yeah, I agree. Although I will say Freddie's looked a lot better as a playmaker once he's actually had someone to set screens for him again since they've acquired Podol. The problem's been the shooting, So I don't know. Although I do usually agree with that, but he has actually looked pretty good as a playmaker over the last few weeks. So I do want to give him credit for that. But yeah, a lot needs to happen this offseason. I'll say that much.
Fair enough. Hopefully Masai will pull the trigger on some deals.
Let's hope, man. Let's hope. I don't know if I can do another season of this. One season is one thing, but you got to recognize when things need to change. And as much as it pains me to say it, we can start running it back with another year like this. It ain't going to be as bad as the Wizards because we got Scotty, but man, eventually,
not the Wizards.
Eventually, a decision has got to be made, and it won't be the Wizards, but they'll probably only be a tier above them.
Don't dunk on the Wizards during talking about a bad aspect of a team challenged.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Hey, we're willing to give our credit when credit is due. The Kings are the prime example. But until you make said decisions, you are going to get the criticism or the credit that is warranted.
Simple. Bro, my forearms hurt so bad. I just have to reiterate that.
You are in shambles,
Bro, that arm day got me torched. I was at work yesterday and I had to hold the camera. I was basically holding the camera for like 6 hours. Bro.
I knew it was a good arm day when before we left, you were like, "Hey man, good lift." And then you texted me like a half hour later when we were at home, and you were like, "Hey bro, good lift."
Good lift.
I'm like, yeah.
We was in there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like
it was 2 hours, bro.
Feeling arms, bro. Like, yeah,
that's a long lift.
God. What else do we got on the? Oh yeah, Devin said he wanted to shout out THT.
I did want to shout out THT.
Yeah, what happened to player shout outs of the week, man? Hold on.
I've been slacking lately, man. I've been slacking.
THT definitely been looking good. They've been using him a lot more point guard lately, and it's definitely more of a role for him than his spot up and shoot threes time in LA. So it's been nice to see.
He's been looking really good. He's always been better on the ball. Like when you play with AD LeBron, you have to be a certain type of player, and he wasn't that. And Laker fans wanted him to be something that he wasn't. So
yeah, definitely looked a lot better as a playmaker recently, and really good at getting to the rim between his strength and athleticism. Nice to see him play well in Utah in a new environment.
That's back-to-back Utah players, man. What they got going? I've been seeing Chris Dunn get a lot of love on on Twitter, which I'm like to see it,
decent.
Man.
He's been decent.
Love to see it, bro.
And if the Bulls could pull back Utah Chris Dunn with current Wendell Carter and Lauri Markkanen, what a team.
Yeah. I guess Jordan Ward, he's been like consistently scoring double figures since he got traded. So, we talked about him a little last week. Shout out to him for, showing that he can't score the basketball when he's given minutes, which Bucks fans were saying for years. Like, if he just gets minutes, man, he's going to be contributing. But, Indy's been playing good basketball since, Reese has been healthy too. So, my bad earlier for saying I wouldn't include them in the playing discussion. They are right there because Tyrese is that good. And guys like Jordan Ward are playing good basketball too.
I didn't think they were climbing out of that hole, man. I thought the Pacers were like dead in the water because they were so bad while Tyrese was out. They were looking like that team that we all predicted to be the 15th seed, and somehow they ended up getting away from that.
Yeah, this is my other guy though, and for all of the Warriors' faults this season, and they did lose depth in the offseason, Dante DiVincenzo has been so consistent for them and doing little things like being an amazing rebounder for them, like stuff like that. And then he has his odd nights offensively where he's shooting the 3-point shot really well. I think last night he had a big night. He had a big game, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago too, where he was really shooting the pill well. But he's been rebounding the ball like crazy. It seems like he's always grabbing 6, 7, 8 boards. It seems like every game. So he's been, filling in, some of those Gary Payton type of roles for them as far as rebounding goes. And he has a nice offensively where he plays really well too. So shout out to him.
Definitely. It's been nice to see him come back and play some good ball this year post-injury.
Yep.
Nice to see.
Imagine, he was on the Kings post-trade deadline last year, right?
Yeah, it was.
Wonder why they didn't keep him around.
He was terrible there.
He was bad. Yeah, I kind of forgot. Yeah.
And then they went and got Kevin Huerter, and it was like, you don't really need him anymore.
I guess he was
got Huerter and got Malik Monk. I don't even know if he gets minutes on this team. He'd probably be the fifth guard because he's probably not playing over Davion.
What's going on with Wiggins?
I don't know. I don't think people know just internally, and no one's leaking it, which is good for his sake because in today's world, that's not the expectation. But as far as we know, I think it's just something family related, and he's just out taking personal time, and it doesn't even seem sure if he's going to be back at any point in time this season. So
that's tough.
Hopefully, all is well with him and his family, but it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, luckily they've still been playing pretty well while he's out, but at this point, as far as he goes, like you can kind of just say like, I don't want to say like get well soon because it's not like an injury or like illness or anything, but as far as like hopefully more of a hope everything's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope everything's okay. Hope he can kind of sort all that out and be feeling good enough to not just come back, but just to live good, man. Because I'm sure if it's something serious enough to where he's like not even able to play, then I'm sure him personally is just not doing great. So
right. Yeah, best wishes out to him and his family or whoever's affected, man. I guess like basketball wise, it does open up minutes for like Kuminga to play a little more. But that's a big piece. That Wiggins is a big piece for them, man. Like he provides so much as far as defense, rebounding, and just being like a real second shot creator outside of Steph and Clay since he's starting to ramp it back up. Like he can be that third guy for them. So definitely a tough loss if he's not able to play again this season.
Certainly, definitely a big part in why their defense has been struggling so much on some nights. They really miss him on the wing.
Yeah, he had Tatum and Hell in the finals, man. Like,
yeah. I mean, like you say, Dante's been well in some spot minutes and replacing that role. Kuminga's been good, but they ain't an all-star starter, so.
Not an all-star starter, man.
All-star starter Wiggins, man. Shout out to the boy.
Finals MVP Wiggins.
Love that. Hey, yeah, if he comes back in time for round one and he's there, he comes into the lineup and they play the Grizzlies in the first round, that team will be rejuvenated and they're going to be dangerous, man.
I'm still worried about that road record. They just stink on the road like so bad. That game the other night against the Grizzlies was funny. And the funniest part was like TNT knew what they were doing by interviewing Dillon Brooks. Like that was so funny to me because Man's had 14 points on 15 shots. Didn't play really that good offensively. He played good defensively against Steph, but it was just so funny them interviewing him afterwards because they knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh, no doubt.
It's Desmond Bane's season, man. Desmond Bane he's the guy who's gonna take the Grizzlies there. It's probably Jaren's probably the best player on the team in their current state, given his defensive impact. Yeah. But Desmond Bane gonna be the guy down the line. You don't need to interview Dillon Brooks, man. Come on, you're starting beef at that point.
Yeah,
give it to Dillon. Let him instigate.
Somebody's alone in their Dillon Brooks fandom, man.
That's of all the NBA drama that's been going on in the last 2 weeks. So that's about the only part that I can partake in and enjoy. The rest of it I ignore 99% of the time. But give me all the Dillon Brooks beef.
I enjoyed that back and forth, man. I really did because I just love how these two teams they make it known they don't like each other. I like that.
Yeah,
dude, on-court drama is great. Because that's the good drama, man. If it's two teams that just hate each other and they're taking shots on Twitter just because they hate playing each other, hey, man, give me that all day. Because at the end of the day, the off-court drama, while interesting occasionally, they're not able to play basketball most of the time during that. Like earlier in the season, Kyrie had his off-court stuff, wasn't playing basketball. John Morant not playing basketball. I want to see the drama where you go against each other and you go harder than ever. Not where you're not playing at all. Because these are entertaining players. They're fun players, and they're really good at what they do, and they make teams a lot better. So it's like there is a palpable difference there. So give me more of this Dylan Brooks type drama right here.
We live for the beef, man. Live for the beef.
Definitely. I should also specify, just for clarity, give me more of the basketball stuff and just you can get rid of all the manufactured stuff on Twitter. That's really where the line gets drawn. There's a reason I haven't talked about MVP conversations for a long time.
Oh yeah.
There's just too much stuff right now that it's like, yeah, it's not a basketball argument anymore. And it should be because it's basketball. And we're not out here nominating people for Oscars. Like, that's where I just start muting a million people and my Twitter timeline becomes better every day. It's great.
Yeah, I haven't had to mute somebody. Actually, I did. I had to mute somebody recently because I don't even want to bring it up. Actually, it was basketball related, but I don't even know if I should bring it up. Like honestly, just know I had to mute this person.
Yeah, it's not worth bringing it up. But
MVP convos, dead argument, dead conversation. There is no conversation. That section of the awards video of this podcast is going to be liked.
Tatum for MVP.
That's how you feel, man. Maybe I guess it's a little less light at that point, but as far as I'm concerned, it's light.
Yeah. Who cares? Honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. I pretty much guess every award wrong every year, anyway. So
right. Right. I might get one right this year. I don't know though. People think J-Dub might win Rookie of the Year now, so I might not get over.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with Rookie of the Year yet.
That should be a shout out Player of the Week, man. Why has he been so good since like trade deadline? Maybe I'm a casual and he was like hooping before that. I'm sure he was playing like decent.
He was playing solid.
But like the way he's been playing recently,
has been on another level. Yeah. Like his last stretch of games is. Points is 22, 15, 27, 24, 20, 32, 17. All of those games are on above 50% from the field. Like just wicked stuff. And the way he's getting those buckets too, he's creating his own shot at times as well. It's not just here's 20 free points where I'm cutting to the rim and getting putbacks. Like he's looking really, really solid.
Yeah. It's that rookie buff, man, like post All-Star break after you get past the wall. Like I seen a stat earlier. Jabari Smith Jr. is like averaging
looking a lot better.
Averaging like 18 over his last 5 games. I think like 7-8 rebounds, shooting like 50-40 and like 80, I think, from on the splits. Like he's been playing solid, and he went through a stretch early on, like mid-season. People were like, man, he might be a bust already. Like just saying that, so prematurely. But he's been playing very, very solid basketball recently.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's looked a lot better. This shows time and time again. Every year, we always like to. Well, I shouldn't say we, but some people like to count guys out early after like 40 games, 50 games in a rookie season, and it's like
way too soon.
Give him time, man. Give him time.
Just remember how bad Trae Young was the first half of his rookie year, man. That's always the go-to example.
Trae Young, even like Garland was the worst player in the league. Apparently,
Garland was just a whole bad rookie year. That wasn't even 50 games. That was just a bad season.
Yeah.
Even like I remember people saying Jalen Suggs last year, like they gave up on him. He's had really good moments this year. Just health has been the thing with him. Even like Cade last year, like he had the injury obviously early on, but like first half of the season when he did play, he wasn't amazing. But that second half of the season, he started playing really, really good basketball, like high level basketball. So you gotta be patient, man. These are kids still. Like a lot of these dudes are 18, 19, maybe 20. Like these are such young guys playing at the NBA level. So, it takes time, just to get used to, playing more than, 35, 40 games and, playing from night to night, instead of like a couple times a week. Like it's a big difference.
I need to see more Cade, man. More Cade. The injury
I was saying that the other day.
I know, like, last year he played 64 games, and it feels like he missed a significant amount of time. But, like, I think most of it was, like, early. But especially this year, only playing 12 games now, like 60 games into the season. Dude, I need to see more Cade because he's a fun player. He's a young player. It might benefit the team in the long run because they can just get one more great piece to put on that team, and then they can for real be stacked on young talent. But he's such a game changer. It's like similar to, but also not similar to like Zion, where he just improves the team so much. But he hasn't been there, and I just love seeing him there. So hopefully this is kind of the last like injury stuff for Cade, and then he just comes in next year and he's like he's like he's going to be the kind of player they throw in the most improved conversations when he shouldn't be because the jump is expected.
Yeah, I think he's special, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's easy to forget about because obviously he hasn't played much this season. So obviously that's why people haven't like mentioned him. But like, he's gonna remind everybody when he comes back next season. Like, yeah, this is why I was the number 1 pick. Like, I'm that good. So I can't wait for him to be back healthy and hopefully they have another top pick to add to their young core. So we'll see.
Yeah, seeing him alongside another young star and alongside year 2 Jaden Ivey is going to be a really fun treat. That's the one benefit I'll say is that Ivey's got a lot more opportunity to play make this year, and as of late, he's looked quite good in that role. So he's obviously not going to have to do as much of that when Cade is back, but they're going to have a lot of options for secondary creation and playmaking on this team now from Cade, from Ivey, from Killian Hayes if they keep him around. So they're going to have a lot of options at the position. Now, they could end up with pick 2 and end up picking Scoot this year, so they could have a plethora of options there. So at least that is a little bit of benefit from Cade being out so much time this year.
That's going to be some crazy, like, draft time talks. Like, do they take Scoot? Do they trade Ivy? Do they trade down? Like, there's going to be so much discourse if they get the second pick.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Come on, bro. There's no way they trade Jaden Ivey, man.
No, I'm sure they just take Scoot and make it work. I mean, the 76ers did take centers in 3 straight drafts. So,
I mean, they made it work somehow.
I wouldn't hate the idea of trading down, honestly, at that point.
No, I wouldn't either. But you could maybe get away with it just because of the size of Cade and just see how it fits.
They could.
And then maybe you move one of them down the line. But there's definitely, if someone was willing to give you enough to move up a pick or 2, I definitely wouldn't be against it.
It's a weird situation, man. I feel like if you're like a 10, 11 seed, even maybe like a 12 seed that has like some success and needs like that last piece to really go for it, then it's like, yeah, take the guy who fits. But when you're literally like a 15 seed, 14 seed, I think you should just take the most talented guy because at that point, clearly your team's not good enough. So we're like, you should be like, oh, this guy might be better, but we should take this guy instead. Like, you're literally like the worst team in the league. But the thing is that because Cade's not there, it puts them in a weird position because they might, if he's there, like I think I predicted them to just sneak into the play-in. So like, I predicted them to be a lot better, and they might have been if Cade was playing the whole season.
So, I mean, they weren't great when Cade was playing, but it's like, the Magic weren't great early on, but they got all their guys healthy and they started playing better. So the Pistons could have been the same way, like start off struggling, young team. But as the season goes on, Ivy gets more comfortable. Jalen Duren gets more comfortable. Isaiah Stewart finds his role. Like, they could have been better than the worst team in the league. That's all I'm saying. So that's why they're in a kind of a weird like position. Like, we think that they should be better than what they are because of the talent there. It's just, their best player is, pretty much missed the entire season. So they're just in like that weird spot where it's like they're getting a top pick probably because Cade Cunningham is hurt. Like, he's not playing basketball. So I don't know. I would like if they got one, obviously you take Victor. Like, don't even entertain trading down. I don't care if you got 3 young bigs, figure it out, whatever. If they got 2 though, I would say think about it. Just think about it. Take the offers. If a team's willing to throw a lot to get that second pick, you take that offer, man. Because I think fit probably matters a little more than just taking the best talent there, even though Scoot does seem like he's going to be one of those guys. But, this draft is still full with a lot of, complementary players that I think could fit their rebuild a lot more than just drafting Scoot Henderson.
You think if they trade the pick, how would you feel about them trading for like a player? Instead of just trading down for like a lower pick, like they trade for that. Well, I'll call it a third piece next to Ivy and Cade, even though some other guys might have an argument for being like that third piece already.
I think it depends on who it is.
I think for me, the only position you'd trade down for if you're getting a guy would have to be like a true wing.
Yes.
Because they got a ton of front court guys and they're gonna have back court guys, and I don't know if that trade would exist. Because like the first thing that popped in my mind would be if the Hornets moved up and they moved off PJ Washington, but did they want another 4? Probably not. So like I don't know if that guy exists.
You'd have to throw in more than PJ Washington.
Probably, but just as kind of a young guy that you include.
Let Brooklyn commit to a rebuild, man. Trade McHale for that pick. McHale's been dropping 30 like every night, man.
I would
trade McHale for that pick.
Yeah, I don't think Brooklyn would, but like somebody of that nature would probably. If I was a GM, like that would have to. If I'm trading for like a tangible piece, it would have to be somebody like McHale.
I would love that for both sides so much because I don't think like McHale is your best player. I don't think that ceiling is like a championship contending team. And that's always my outlook is like if this core can't get you to a championship, rebuild. That's always been my outlook. So like I don't know, man. I think the Brooklyn Nets, the way their front office has been, I don't think they would do it. But I would love if they did.
What's the most that y'all would throw for the second pick this year?
The second pick. Probably throw in like a borderline all-star guy and a couple firsts.
Is Brandon Ingram too much?
I think Brandon Ingram's a bit too much.
Okay.
I think.
I also don't think the Pelicans are a team that should be looking at getting number 2.
I was just thinking of like a tier of player, not obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit too much because when healthy, he's an all-star.
Okay.
I think that's a bit too much.
Because think what
as much
teams
as Scoot's going to be that good, I think it's a bit much for a guy who's not even in the league yet.
What teams need a number 2 pick? Like the rest of the bottom of the league,
but the Spurs need everything. So
that aren't bad.
and say like I mean because if the Pistons are in second, there's a good chance that the Spurs are at 1.
And Charlotte's probably not too far behind.
The Jazz could use him. Not that they're great, but the Jazz could definitely use him. They got their center and they got their wing.
It's like Utah could use that because like OKC's young, but I think they're Shea's in he's about to go into year 6.
And
they don't 5.
They don't need Scoot either.
Right. They don't need like a top pick. So like maybe Utah, but like yeah.
Am I crazy to say the Timberwolves?
Who?
The Timberwolves?
Timberwolves ain't got nothing. They traded 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert.
Would you trade McDaniels and other assets?
Honestly, I think if the trade gets made, call me crazy, but the guy gets moved is probably Cat. He's in the last year of his deal. That would probably be the move. I don't think it would happen. But
we're just saying whoever has its number 2 pick, Gabe. Not Detroit, just whoever has it.
Whoever has it.
I was about to say, Cat to the Pistons would be mad interesting. That boy's playing the 4, respectfully.
I'd be mad. It would probably have to be Cat though, honestly. Like, yeah, enticing.
If Brandon Ingram was like a little bit too high tier of a player, is Cat less valuable than Brandon Ingram?
Right now, definitely.
Injury.
I guess the injuries is what kind of
injury concerns. One-way guy.
Oh yeah, the center that don't play defense, man.
Yeah.
McHale might be that highest tier of guy then.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. The Nets
be that guy.
The Nets
be that guy. Give me Scoot.
McHale's he's playing almost too good right now. Like this little stretch he's on.
Yeah,
bro. He's gonna be like, oh nah, he's like an all-star guy. If he played like this for a full season, he would be an all-star, no doubt. But
it's crazy how good NBA players are when, the offense is focused towards them. Like, it's crazy how good that they can actually be.
Bro, I didn't think Brooklyn's offense would be focused towards anybody. I thought they just kind of play like a system. But
I think Mikal was showing signs, when Book was out, but sometimes just being in a new situation can really just open up your game.
Definitely.
I thought his ceiling was like 22 points and good defense. So
I didn't even think it was that high, personally.
No, me neither.
Well, I mean, like
18.
But I mean, I think especially for wings at this point in time, I think there's an argument that the frame of how good a player actually can be needs to be expanded depending on situation, because there's just been so many guys over the last couple of years. I mean, Lauri Markkanen's the most notable guy this year. Jeremy Grant's done it. Mikal Bridges is doing it. OG Anunoby, when he's had the opportunity with injuries, has shown that he can have that at times. I mean, there's a lot of wings like that when they start getting those opportunities, they just make that jump, because there's a lot of wings in this league that's like, okay, we got our star big, or we got our couple of good guards, shoot some threes, play defense. And that's it.
And a lot of these dudes, when they get drafted, it's like the defense is there. It's just the offense that needs to catch up. Some of them, when they don't catch up, like it looks bad, like the Josh Jacksons of the world. But there are the examples of the offense does catch up to the defense. And now you got two-way all-stars, all over the place. So, yeah, that's why these 3-and-D lengthy defensive wings are like so coveted in the NBA.
Also, just while I'm on the note, was I the only one who didn't realize that Bojan Bogdanovic got an extension? Or was I just clueless to the world? Apparently he got it like in October. He got a 2-year extension. I thought he was a free agent at the end of the year. I was certain on that.
I saw something come out, and
that sounds familiar. I'm not sure though.
I feel like it had to be real, because I didn't look too much into it. But like, there's no reason somebody should troll about something this insignificant to the casual fan, at least. I saw they were talking about shutting him down for the season.
Yeah.
Why did you keep him?
Because I guess he was on an extension, and I just thought he was a free agent. But I guess it makes sense now, because I saw that and I quote tweeted on it the other day. I was like, well, then why didn't you trade him? Because I thought he was a free agent. So it's like, well, he's not playing again for you ever. Why did you keep him? But clearly I was wrong, which makes even more sense now why they traded Saddiq Bey. And I just was completely oblivious to the fact that they gave him this extension. But no, they gave him a 2-year extension at $39 million.
I feel like we would have talked about that on the pod at some point.
I would have thought we would have too, but I don't know.
It sounds familiar, but I'm just like, did he? Like, nah, I don't know. I guess
it's good for teams to have a vet, man, but he is like 33. So that contract's till he's 35.
Yeah, it's only a 2-year deal. It's whatever.
They'll be
They'll
fine.
probably.
I guess it'll probably run out before they got to pay their guys. So.
Well, yeah, they can keep him for next year, and if they want to move him with 1 year left, then they can do that pretty easily. So it's not too bad, and he's been decent this year. So
he's had some really good moments,
and they don't have wings.
Yeah. I mean, I would call being a 41% 3-point shooter, 48%. I would call that on paper pretty good season from him, man. Pretty good season from him. I think that's his career high.
The LeBron stopper, as Gabe would call him.
Yeah, it is his
LeBron
career high.
stoppers don't exist, man. There might be LeBron slowers. There might be a couple LeBron slowers out there, but the LeBron stoppers don't exist.
They do not.
Iguodala won a Finals MVP for holding LeBron to like a 36-point near triple-double.
Well, he was averaging like, less than 40% shooting. That's why.
That was Curry's award.
Yeah. Nah. He was getting clamped in Dellavedova.
He put Dellavedova in the hospital is what he did.
Steph been elite since he came back, though. But, the Warriors can't win on the road. But at home, they get it done.
The boys going to have to go undefeated at home to have any chance.
It's still a road game.
Yeah.
Every series.
Yeah.
I came on here last week, and I feel like I talked about. I was like, yeah, man, Warriors look a little bit better right now, but they got a 3-game road trip coming up, so they might be back in the play-in. They're not back in the play-in, but they did lose that entire 3-game road trip that I was talking
about. They're just lucky that the Timberwolves and Mavs have also lost their last 2.
The Mavs are bad, bro. Mavs are bad.
The Mavs are bad. Jason Kidd is worse, and it's just a mess. Yeah.
We might be close to putting Dwight Powell on the ban list for you two. I feel like I see so much Dwight Powell slander.
That is my least favorite NBA player.
Man, I don't even dislike Dwight Powell. I just dislike that this man is out here getting more minutes than Christian Wood. Like, come on, man. Like this guy is consistently giving you good offense, and I don't care that he's not great defensively. Dwight Powell isn't exactly swatting things away at the rim himself.
I understand why the casual fan would probably, look at Dwight Powell and be like, what does he do? But I'm somebody who gives credit to role players that numbers don't pop off of the box score, right? But what does Dwight Powell do? What does he do?
3 lobs a game and grabs a few boards.
Christian Wood can do that.
That's about it.
Maxi Kleber can do better things. Like Dwight Powell, like what? He must be like best friends with Luka or something, man. Like I don't know, because what does this man do on the basketball floor? He doesn't rebound, doesn't block shots, doesn't really provide anything offensively other than setting screens. But I mean, Christian Wood can do that. Maxi Kleber can do that. Hell, you can probably pick somebody off the street that can do that. Like Dwight Powell does not do much, man. I know he's Canadian dead, but he don't do nothing, bro. I'm sorry.
He don't.
His good days of basketball are behind him. He was pretty good, like when Luka was like year 2, but he had that injury and he really hasn't been good since.
I don't know how the Mavericks are legitimately this bad since the trade deadline.
Oh, it's easy. They can't defend.
Yeah, they have no defense. They have to be the best offense in the league every night to win, and they're not, so they lose. I don't know. To be fair, I did expect them to be a little bit better than this, but I mean, I wasn't expecting them to be anything great. Sounded good on paper because you have Luka and Kyrie, but then you look at the roster and it's like, yeah, it's like another Portland situation. You got a couple of good guys on offense, but the team's not that good. Although, speaking of Portland, shout out Cam Reddish. He's been playing quite good basketball since he's got there, and hopefully he actually continues to get minutes for once, because he's actually proven that he should continue to get minutes.
Mavericks looking like they're about to fall out the play-in, man.
We have learned it is not a Cam Reddish problem.
Indeed we have. And Matisse been hitting some threes every now and then too, which has been nice to see.
Matisse the sniper, man.
And is shooting 40% from 3 since joining Portland. That man ought to get a bag if he continues that the rest of the season.
Hey, man, for some reason, people just go to Portland and, become okay 3-point shooters, man. Aminu, Mo Harkless, prime examples.
I think Damian Lillard, top 2 shooter all the time. Just he teaches them a thing or two, man. He gets them in the lab and says, "Hey, you playing with me? Nah, you're gonna shoot the ball."
Or maybe they get so many open shots from playing with Dame because he demands a double team as soon as he touches half court.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Shot looks might be better despite kind of middling offensive scheming.
Yeah.
Oof. Trailblazers, I said last week, I'm like, hey man, they're gonna sneak into the play-in. I got them, and now they're in 13, man. They let me down. They let me down big time.
It's the way of the West, man.
Still only a game and a half out, but like I thought they might be able to push to beat 500, and this team ain't finishing 500.
You lose a couple games in the West, man, you're gonna drop like 2 or 3 seeds.
Yeah. For sure.
I legitimately think that at this point, I think there's like a 35% chance the Mavericks miss the play-in.
The play-in just completely?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, a pretty high percentage. I don't know if Luka lets that happen.
They only need to drop a game and a half.
I'll be honest, the only team I feel confident enough to jump them right now is OKC. And I don't know how confident I feel about that because the Trailblazers sure ain't doing it. And the way the Pelicans are playing right now, they sure in hell ain't doing it. There's no shot. So as much as the Mavericks have been bad, the teams below them have also been very bad other than OKC. At
Give
least
me
they've
Oklahoma
been
City,
decent.
man. Give me Oklahoma City.
OKC do got to make up a game and a half, and I don't know if they're going to do that, but I don't know.
Mavericks are terrible,
the Pelicans
bro.
and the Trailblazers just don't look good.
Like the Lakers are jumping them. I think there's like an 80% chance.
Man,
Oh, for sure. The Lakers definitely are jumping them.
Jazz. It's like
The Jazz.
to me, it just depends on who the Jazz play.
You're just thinking.
Jazz honestly play a lot of good teams the rest of the season, so Jazz might fall off.
but they've been pretty like consistent, like most of outside of like the first couple months. Like lately, they've just been like about a 500 basketball team. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, if Taylor Horton-Tucker wants to keep averaging 27 and 4, then it might be okay.
Dude, yeah, this.
Like, yeah, the lineups that they're throwing out there, it seems like they're halfway tanking, but it's like they're still competitive.
Yeah, it's working.
Respectfully,
Yeah,
though, if the Mavericks might be the team to lose the play-in, bro. I'm sorry. I'm so low on this team.
They get in, they're making it, man. There's no way in hell Luka Doncic is letting them miss.
No win one. That's the thing. If they're at 7 or an 8 seed, I'd say they get in. If they're a 9 or a 10 seed,
It's possible.
I don't know because
Luka
to win one of
defense,
two,
man.
to win one of two, you can rely on only having offense. To win 2 of 2, you kind of need a little bit of defense because the odds of Luka and Kyrie being that good and Bullock and Green hitting that many threes in back-to-back nights, probably not that likely. So I don't know. I wouldn't feel that confident about it.
You better hope the Warriors like stay on it, man, because I think the Lakers are a better team right now for sure. And so if the Lakers are 8 and the Lakers win the 7-8 matchup, like you better hope as the Mavericks, if you win that 9-10 game, you better hope you're playing the Timberwolves and not the Warriors. Because if you're playing the Warriors, you're done.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the Warriors in the play-in.
At home, too. Warriors would have home court in that game.
Yeah, if they were a 9-10 seed, everyone would be lining up to play the Warriors. But unfortunately for those teams, that'll likely not be the case. Crazy, man. One more road win than the Spurs and the Rockets. And it's outrageous behavior.
That's nuts.
Outrageous behavior.
Rockets might be on my ban list, too. You might not hear me talk about the Rockets for the rest of the year.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to this point in time in the year where it's like, yeah, I might catch up on these guys a little bit in the offseason, but not really tuning into the Rockets that much anymore. It's just that time of year.
At this point, yeah. Anything about team, I'll say from Orlando down as far as record goes in the league. So like those bottom 5. Any talks about them, it's going to be what it was today. It's going to be
talk
draft
about
talk.
Wendell?
It's going to be draft. It's going to be draft talk, bro. It's going to be draft talk.
Come on now.
Magic are out. There's no point to talk about the Magic because
Markel had like 25 the other night, man. Shout out to my guy.
Shout out to your guy, but this team, they're not a play-in contender.
No.
So there's
They're only 3.5 games out, man. 3.5 games out.
There's no reason.
You already said how you feel about the Bulls. We don't like the Wizards. The Pacers can be up and down, man. They're right there.
No, bro.
Right in the mix. Wendell's going to carry them.
If the Magic make the play-in, I'll put my foot in my mouth, but they're out, bro. I don't think if it's not draft talk, we don't need to talk, man. If we're not talking picks, I don't want to talk.
Is it 100% chance that the Magic don't make the play-in?
Yes, unfortunately. As much as I want them to, that's a next year argument. I even had them out this year, so I can't even push that. But next year, that's another story. Just
had to make sure.
I'll put guarantees on things, man. There's 5 teams eliminated.
Although I don't think the Magic are going to be my biggest agenda push next year, so we'll see.
The Trailblazers lose their next two, they're also eliminated.
I haven't made it that far to pushing the agendas. I might have to wait till the off season.
Yeah, I already know it's going to be on the list unless they astronomically screw up this offseason, which doesn't seem typical for them, but not sure outside of that yet. But there's definitely one team.
Definitely one team. It has to be a team that shows a lot of promise defensively. You get defensively.
You're not wrong. Although I was typing up the Kings, and they're not good defensively. So
True.
Sometimes I do break the mold.
Is Dev changing?
Hey. Yeah. I can like a team if they're not good defensively. I just don't think you're a contender.
I gotta hear Gabe's answer because I know Devin's answer. I know my answer, but I know you saw the tweet where it's like, would you rather have a high scoring game or like a low scoring defensive game? What would you rather have, Gabe, as a fan watching?
So this was my main thing that made me struggle to think about it. There's a lot of games that are low scoring, not because of good defense, but because of bad offense. If it's like poor defense, but neither team can hit a shot, and that's why it ends up like 85, 84, like give me the offensive game all day because I just don't want to see people look terrible. But like if it's for real, like just great defense, great team defense, great switches, like just somebody putting the clamps on, looking like Lou Dort out there, like all game, like give me the defensive game, man. Give me the defensive game because like stuff like the All-Star game, it's just straight boring.
Yeah, that's my thing about like college basketball. Like a lot of those games are low scoring, but the offensive quality is so bad, like it's almost unwatchable compared to the NBA. So that's why I like NBA games where it's like low scoring playoff type environments like that. 94, 90 type of games like those. I live for those games, man. Like make those crucial stops. That big 3-point shot that pushes the lead to 4 and makes it feel like a 10-point lead at that point.
Yeah, those are the best games. Those are definitely the best.
It's just like I like to use the football analogy of like, would you rather see a good defensive game because like the cornerbacks are locked down and like the D line's getting great pressure, or like a good defensive game because the quarterback's overthrowing everybody and the O-line can't block? Like there's a big difference between low scoring because of good play on the defensive end and low scoring because of just bad play on the offensive end. And like bad offensive play where it's just not even good defense, but just nothing's happening because both teams just like can't shoot the ball. That's not fun. It's not fun to watch.
It's actually nasty basketball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, give me a good defensive game every day. There's a reason why I love the playoffs.
Hey man, speaking of how college basketball can be nasty, is it time?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Jeopardy. Yeah, we can do Jeopardy, man.
Is it time for college trivia?
Yeah, are you able to screen share on your end, Tyrik? I'm not sure how this works.
Button that says present.
Present, yeah. I'm just not sure if you can do it because you're not the host, or if you have to ask for privileges, or how it works. But
I can share my screen. Screen share it says.
Oh.
I think I can. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me pull up the trivia on my Chrome window.
Yeah.
All right. We should be good. No. Can y'all see the screen? Is it popping up?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we got it.
Bet.
Oh, Jeopardy. All right, man. We can see the score the whole time. If I get exposed this time, it's in 4K.
I would guarantee you I ain't exposing you here. There's no shot. Although, if you do get exposed by the Canadian, it might be rough.
You have to play that card, man. You have to play that card.
I cannot see y'all because I'm not a monitor guy like you guys are, but I got it pulled up on my phone so I can keep up. All right, so got 5 categories, obviously. College basketball trivia. We got star players. Stars a little loosely. It's like all-star caliber dudes. So, keep that in mind. All current guys listed there. Role players, not like there are some guys that are like you might see above role players, but they're kind of in that, realm, I would say, right? Then we got random players. Don't think of like bench warmers. Like these are just like literally random players. I just found them, thought that they would be good to include. That's that. Lottery picks. So these are guys that have been lottery picks within like the last, I think 15 years. Last 15 years. And then the last one is just name a player from the school. So you pick one of these, a school's gonna pop up, and you name a player from that school. Any player that has played in the NBA that went to that school.
Oh gosh.
Played 1,000 games or 1 game.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm scared, man. I'm scared. I'm nervous.
All right, we're gonna do this.
Gabe.
We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way, man. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Go ahead, throw out a guess.
Give me 8.
I will go 7.
The number was 7, so Gabe has. For the second week in a row, Gabe gets number 1. All right, Gabe.
Okay.
So where are we going?
I'm gonna start with the most average possible pick, and I'm gonna say random players 300, right in the middle.
Random players 300. So where did John Collins go to school?
Oh gosh. I'm already exposed.
Oh, you and me both.
If you guys need hints, I will give you hints because I know you guys are not the college basketball players. I'll give you 1 hint per player or per question.
Okay. I think we should have a rule though that we need to make it known that like we agree on getting the hint because say like I guess and then I get it wrong and then he's like, oh, I want the hint. Like, do we want to agree to take the hint?
Yeah,
there's one school I have in my head, but I don't know how correct that is.
Yeah, let's take a hint.
How do I give this hint without like giving it away? He went to the same school as a very legendary point guard. Some people might consider him top 5.
Whoa.
Giving us a hint by making me know more college knowledge. Oh, boy.
This guy has definitely been a part of our basketball fandom. Like we've definitely watched him play a lot.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead with the guess. I'm gonna buzz in.
All right.
And from you saying maybe top 5 point guard, I'm gonna go Wake Forest.
That would be correct.
Let's go. Chris Paul.
Would be correct.
Chris Paul.
Okay. Good job, Gabe.
For some reason in my head, I had like Virginia in my head. Same region of the country, but not that school.
That was a good pull. Maybe the hint might have given it away a little too much, but I know y'all are not experts, so.
I ain't giving away nothing to me.
Top 5 point guard. Top 5 point guard could have been a lot of different things. I was like, it's not Michigan State. Definitely did not go to Davidson College, thinking of like the top 2 point guards. So
you might have.
John Collins did not go to Davidson College. I'll tell you that.
All right. Where are we going next, man?
So, let's go across the mid board, man. I'll go lottery picks 300.
All right, bet. I'm expecting y'all to get this because we talked about this recently, man.
We did. I'm feeling like, oh my gosh. We did. This is so bad.
I don't even know if I can give you a hint for this one without really giving it away.
Lottery picks.
Lottery pick, KCP, man. I really don't know nothing, do I?
I cannot believe this right now.
You guys need a hint?
Probably.
I think we can agree on the hint.
All right.
Yeah.
SEC school. They're not known for basketball. It's not the sport that they're known for.
All right, I'm gonna buzz in and say Alabama.
That is incorrect.
Uh,
Good guess.
all right, that was the best I got for you, man.
I'm gonna have to just name a random school, and I'm not even gonna know if they're in the SEC.
Oh my god, we literally talked about this. I'm gonna be so upset.
We did talk about this like 2
At
weeks
least-
ago.
My first guess was gonna be literally like Kansas, but that's not SEC.
No.
Think
At
about
least-
think about the region of the country, man. Southeastern Conference.
Southeast of the country.
Oh my god, I think it just came to me. I think it
Not
just
known
came to
for
me.
basketball. Not known for basketball.
I think it just came to me, man. It's so sad. If there's a certain school that pops up, I'm gonna be so upset.
I'm gonna give you like 20 seconds, Devin. I'll give you like 20 seconds.
Give me Syracuse for no good reason.
Yeah, that is not Southeast, unfortunately.
He went to Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, if you would have put Florida up for a second, I thought it was about to be Florida, and I was about to be like,
I think it's back on Gabe.
Yeah.
we'll keep going, man. Name a player from this school for 300, because I want to see what you're working with here.
All right. University of Miami.
Buzz in, Lonnie Walker.
Good guess.
I'll watch the TikToks, man. Come on.
There's only a few players that went to Miami, like actively in the NBA. So good guess.
I'll watch the TikToks, man.
600-point lead for Gabe, but
Hey.
I got faith in Devin to bring it back.
Yeah.
Name-
He
name a-
shouldn't.
Name a player from this school for 400. We're here, baby.
All right.
DePaul.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
What?
Hey, the 400 one was tough in this one. I'm not gonna lie.
DePaul.
There
I
is
couldn't even tell you where DePaul is.
Yeah,
it
no
is
doubt.
in I think Chicago. If I'm not mistaken.
Paul. Man.
Yeah, we might have to agree on the hint out the gate on this one, bro.
Yeah, if a hint can
DePaul?
if a hint can be given, I am for it.
All right. There's one active guy. I think there's one active guy.
Bro gave us this is 400. I don't even want to know what the 500 is. There's gonna be no active
Yeah.
players.
The 500 one is something that I just learned like yesterday.
Oh, yikes.
There is 2 active guys. My bad. 2 active guys. How can I? There's 2 active guys that I could see y'all getting. One guy he's known as a shooter. The other guy is a backup big who might be like a third string big now after the trade deadline, but a backup big on a contending type team. Both of these guys are in the Eastern Conference. So one's a shooter on a team that most might consider contender types, and the other is a backup / third string big on a contending team.
After the trade deadline.
Buzz. With no confidence. Let's go with Korkmaz.
No, that is a good guess though.
I'm gonna stay on the same roster, and I'm gonna say B-ball Paul, man.
That's why that was a good
Give me
guess.
B-ball.
Yeah. That's a good pull, man.
B-ball Paul, baby.
That
Dude,
is
I
a-
thought DePaul, and I'm like,
Brutal.
it has to be DePaul has to be B-ball Paul.
I was gonna say his name's literally in the school, but that's what it takes away.
We
All right.
We gotta get this off the board, man.
Yeah, he was rolling,
Name a
bro.
player from this school for 500. If you just learned this yesterday, I don't even want to do this later.
I don't think y'all are gonna get this. I don't think y'all are
Ole
gonna get this.
Miss.
Ole Miss
Well, for some reason, I
basketball.
feel like I should know this, which is odd.
I'm about
If
to
you-
buzz in and say like freaking DK Metcalf, man. AJ Brown.
Oh man,
Sadly, not NBA players. Sadly.
I'm thinking we both want a hint here, Gabe.
It may be required.
If I'm not mistaken, this guy is a former Raptor.
It's a former Raptor. Well,
Yeah.
that just makes me even more confused.
Oh, former Raptors legend.
When I say legend, I
Raptors legend, man. Come on.
how else can I? Former Raptor. Bench player, gets rotational minutes on a playoff team in the Western Conference.
Oh, that's a big guess. That's a big guess.
Former Raptor.
Yeah, a big hint, rather.
Yeah.
Bench
I know who
player
it isn't.
on a playoff team.
Buzz.
Yep,
Terrence Davis.
good pull. That's
Dang.
literally the only.
The hints are bigger than the college at this point, bro. I got D-ball
No
Paul
doubt.
and
I was just
Terrence
thinking of
Davis
former
on the
Raptors.
last-
That was a gift
Nah.
of a hint.
'Cause, bro, like the other dudes on this list, I've never heard of that played in the NBA from Ole Miss. Like I've never heard of them. So Terrence Davis is like the only guy that all of us would know. Great pull, Dev.
Needed that one.
All right, Dev just cut 3.5. So ball game again. Where are we going with it?
Let's go role players 200.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, these guys are maybe not star players, but all you got to do is just associate them with your college. All right, so role players for 200. Jordan Poole.
Buzz, Michigan.
Yes. All right. Fairly simple. So, all right, it's back on Gabe. Gabe's always the one controlling the board, bro.
He does
I
like to control the
I
board.
somehow because, bro, in the last one, I answered more questions than you. You just got all the hard ones.
400 and 500. All right, where are we going? Lane?
Role players 300.
All right. Harrison Barnes.
UNC legend, buzzing. UNC legend.
You didn't buzz, but I'll give it to you.
I buzzed in after and said it again.
All right, where are we at?
Star players 300. Let's get the 300s out the way.
Your star players?
Yeah.
All right. So these are all current dudes, all-star type guys. Some might be superstars. Just depends on how you classify them. Larry Markkinen.
Buzz.
Buzzing Arizona.
I had it first.
Hey, yeah, Dev was first, man. Yeah,
I was gonna say Arizona, so it's fine. But
I believe it, man. That's a foul.
Matt just thought it was down and out. He wasn't even gonna wait for my buzz anymore.
That's a
That's
foul on Gabe.
disrespectful.
I think the stream lag made. I said it before. You can't
Nah.
do it. I'll give it to you, man.
Low key a foul. I'm not gonna lie, but
control the board, man. It's okay.
on Dev.
Give me star players 400.
All right. Zach Levine.
Buzz, UCLA.
That is correct. Did you know that one, Devin?
No, I didn't.
Thought you would. Okay. All right, Gabe, where we at? Gabe has an 1,100 lead.
Star players 500, man. Star players should be me.
I forgot who I put for this one. Don't
Buzz.
lie. Yes,
Gonzaga.
that is correct.
I didn't even know he went to college, man.
He's a white big.
Real. Honestly,
That's about as deep as it goes.
So real,
I got to
so real.
simplify things to try and remember some things.
I thought
Hey,
he
it's
was
funny.
drafted from overseas, man.
It's funny because I had to look it up earlier. I'm pretty sure it was Gonzaga, but I had to look it up again. But good pull, man. Good pull.
I was going to
We
be
probably
down
already
and out
close
if I
to
didn't get that one.
Oh yeah, you might be bad.
We're probably already close to surpassing how many answers me and Tyrik got correct last week. It was a lot of wrong.
You guys
answers
had 17 of 23. So you guys did pretty good, but I am only 200 points off a Gabe score last week, so that makes me feel good.
All right.
I was only answering easy ones, man.
Let's go role players 100.
Hill Bridges.
Buzz in Villanova.
All right.
Correct.
Actually need that.
Dev can spare that one.
Yeah, that's
Just a
okay.
little point.
All right. Damn, he might move over from role players to star players by next season, man. Low key.
That's why I was like, some of these guys, like, you might consider,
Yeah,
different than what they are, but
All right. Lottery picks 200.
Reese.
Oh, Buzz in Iowa State.
I thought that one might have been difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Low key did.
Come on, man. Stop playing with me like that.
Yeah, he was back.
Lottery picks 400, man. Let's go.
I think the 500 one might be difficult, but the 400. Aaron Neesmith. The hint on this one might be difficult.
Every time I don't know it, the same school comes to mind, and he definitely did not go there. Aaron Neesmith.
Trying to think of a hint.
Aaron Neesmith, man. That's
It is another SEC school.
I think I was about to guess an ACC school, so that's good that I did not do that.
And this school had another lottery pick, like, I think a year before him. So they had one. Yeah, a year before he was drafted.
If I knew his draft class, that would help a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you all that. Not really known as a basketball school. You know, they have one of the best, like, college basketball arenas, in my opinion.
One of the best college basketball arenas. Who in the SEC got a fire college basketball arena? You know, I'm going to take a shot in the dark.
Okay.
Because I know they have a good football arena. I'm going to guess Tennessee.
Very good guess, but that's incorrect. Very good guess. I can't give any more hints without giving it away.
I don't think it's it, but give me Florida State.
That is incorrect, man.
Is it Texas? Is it Texas, man? Oh, Vander.
Man.
Same school as DG.
Yeah, that's
Came to
why
my
I
head for
didn't.
a second, but I wasn't sure if they were SEC or not.
That's why I didn't mention Darius Garland's name, because I knew one of y'all would. Yeah.
Not me.
Do I control the board still?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Random players 400.
Nick Claxton.
Oh, that's random.
Another one I had to look up again earlier, just to be sure.
Nick Claxton.
We're back in the SEC, by the way.
I don't have a great guess here. I don't have a great guess here. However, I'm going to buzz in, and I'm going to say Texas.
Incorrect.
I was thinking that too, so I appreciate that getting out of the way.
Unfortunate.
Incorrect. I see the guessing game there. Texas is always known for their bigs. That's not a bad guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Who's looking for Georgia, man?
Georgia again. We just are Georgia casuals, dude. Tennessee is a good big pool too because they got wrong guy. Never mind.
Wrong guy. I think Claxton played with Anthony Edwards. I think.
Anthony Edwards is a guy that I would get Georgia on.
See, that's why I can't. They're too easy, man. I think Gabe still controls the board, so
yeah.
Random players 500. Let's go.
I forgot who I put for this, but I think it is most definitely random. That's not too random.
That's pretty random.
Ironically, we are back in the SEC.
Dude just stays there.
We are back in the SEC, man.
He never leaves the SEC.
No doubt.
Another hint, yeah, because I know y'all aren't. I can tell y'all aren't going to get this without it again. Definitely, they're not known as a football school either.
Oh, when I think of SEC teams not known for basketball or football, that leaves me on like one team.
Or did I say they're not known as a football school?
Yeah.
They're not known as a basketball school. My bad.
Okay.
I would just say there's
Even
one
though
school I go to if I think not football or like known for something else.
Even though they've had some very, very good college basketball players come out of there, but not known as a basketball school.
Good college buzz in.
Okay.
LSU.
That was a good pool game.
Bro, you said very good basketball players came out of there, and I'm like, they had Shaq and Ben Simmons, but they're definitely not a basketball school.
Pistol T, yeah, they've had some top guys.
It's
not over, even though the score does look a little lopsided. It's not over.
It's not over, but I already did better than I thought I would. So
we're gonna knock out some of the heavy hitters because. So I'm gonna go lottery picks 500.
You guys are either get this one right off rip or have no clue.
Dougie McBuckets. Oh
buzzed.
My goodness.
Oh, you buzzed, Devin?
I buzzed.
I know the answer. Fuck.
Indiana?
Nah.
No.
Buzz in. I think this is him. It might be another guy. Buzz in Creighton. Let's go, baby. We're here.
Dang, was that too easy for a 500?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Dougie McBuckets, man. Dougie McBuckets, man. Have I surpassed Tyrik's score last week?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It was 3,000.
3,000 to 1,500. He doubled me.
Yeah.
Man, let's go.
So it's not over, but Devin basically needs to get almost everything right.
Yeah, which I won't. So.
Okay. We're gonna knock off the heavy hitters, man. Role players 500.
I forget who I put for this one. Kevin Harder.
Oh, I should know this. This. I can see a color. All I want to know, the only thing I want to know is what color jersey he wore. Is that a hint that I can get?
That might give it away a little too much.
Really? There's only so many colors.
But I feel like it would, man. Just being modest, I feel like it would give it away.
Kevin Herter, dude, I feel like I should know this. Came to the Hawks, big Dwayne Wade fan, but I don't think he went to Dwayne Wade's school. I doubt he went to Dwayne Wade's school. What other background on Kevin Herter coming in?
School has currently 5 active NBA players. One of those dudes being like a top 5 pick, I think. Another lottery pick.
Top 5 pick.
Yeah.
See, Kevin Herter being a 500, Kevin Herter feels like a player I should like know.
Who else went to the school? Steve Blake.
I'm not getting that.
Steve Francis.
Oh, Steve Francis should be like a. That's it.
The GOAT, Jake Layman. Joe Smith. I'm afraid if I say this one guy's name, it might give it away.
No. Don't.
Oh man.
Bruno Fernando went there? Didn't know that. Big Ten school.
Big Ten school? Nah,
Yeah.
bro. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. If he was in the Big Ten, I'm so cooked.
You're fine because that means nothing to me.
Big Ten school.
Hey, bro. I'm just
Smith.
listen. We need to get this over with.
Jalen Smith
bro.
went there. Alex Len went there.
What? I'm buzzing in and saying Maryland, bro.
No way.
I'm him, man.
Dude, just guess. Is that the jersey color that you were thinking of?
I was thinking he wore red, but they got a couple colors on that jersey.
I was
Maryland,
like yellow.
Well, as soon as you said Big Ten, I was just thinking of schools he definitely didn't go to, and I'm like, all right, definitely not Ohio State, definitely not Michigan State, definitely not Michigan. I feel like that the Big Ten, that kind of makes it a little bit more of like a niche in my kind of like the Raptors question on the last one that I got. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna know the Big Ten because I literally go to school in it. All right, let's get the last heavy hitter out the way and go role players 400.
I think Gabe's been studying, man. Spencer Dinwiddie.
But it's not, unfortunately.
No, I've been studying too, so I didn't get skunked. I don't think I would have got any of these before this week.
Spencer Dinwiddie. The same like 2 or 3 schools just come to my head every time I don't know.
Well, you have about you have like a 1 in 300 chance.
I do. This is true.
How can I? Pac-12 school.
Spencer Dinwiddie was Pac-12.
Pac-12.
There's a school in my head. I don't know if that's
Typically, they're not really known for much. Honestly, sometimes they're good in basketball.
I have a guess. I'm buzzing in, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm giving you Washington.
No, it is not Washington.
Give me Utah because for some reason that's in my brain.
That's not a bad guess. I'm looking for Colorado. Not a bad guess.
I always forget their Pac-12.
I think Gabe still controls the board. We got 7 questions.
Name a player from this school for 200.
Ohio State.
Buzz.
I'm not guessing.
Mike Conley.
I was about to not guess on purpose, man. That wasn't fair.
Devin controls the board.
Name a player from the school 100.
Okay. It's a 100-point question.
Buzz. Paolo.
Because I was gonna say just name anybody because
yeah, no doubt. Lottery picks 100.
I forgot who this was.
Buzz.
Yes.
Florida State.
Good guess.
Dang.
The comeback train.
Star players 100. Buzz.
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yes. Cool.
Star players 200.
Star players 2. Jaylen Brown.
Buzz. Ooh, no Buzz.
He said no.
Pump fake.
Buzz, pretty sure you played for California.
Cal who though? No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. All right, 2 questions. Gabe back in control.
Random players 200.
Can Gabe crack 4K? Eric Gordon.
I don't know if I can.
Honestly, this should have been a higher one. Honestly,
Yeah, that's harder than you give it credit for. But I'm a buzzing to say Indiana.
maybe not. I guess.
If it wasn't a Big Ten school, probably less of a chance I would have got that.
And last one, random players.
Sadiq Bey. Oh gosh.
This probably could have been higher too, but I'm thinking because he got drafted not too long ago, maybe not.
I should know this. I don't know why I don't. Did not go to that school. I
Pretty
keep wanting to think. I'm like,
Cool.
one school came to my head instantly, but it's not him. It's another guy that went there.
Pretty prominent school.
Pretty prominent school. This being the 100 is crazy. This is the hardest 100 by a mile.
No way.
No shot.
Which is crazy. We look like cats.
I thought the toughest one had to be Ole Miss. Had to be the toughest one.
I mean, that one got answered, but it also was a former Raptor, and you're talking to 2 Raptors fans here.
The former Raptor gave it away.
Yeah. As soon as you start involving trades and player movement, I'm in.
Sadiq Bey. Why do I not know what school Sadiq Bey went to, man?
I feel like this shouldn't be that difficult.
I'm just going to say the school that keeps coming to my mind, man. And I know it's wrong because it was Miles Bridges, but Michigan State, man.
No, it's not Michigan State.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, he went to Detroit, and I'm like, oh, yeah. But
Your hint was almost good, but not Michigan State.
I don't feel confident either, but give me Purdue.
Nah, we're looking for Nova.
Nova. Oh, so he did go to the same school as one of the Bridges.
Yeah, that's why I said you're
Miles. He went to the
Not
same
bad.
school as.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, man, 4,100. I like that, man. I did not get exposed today.
No. I'll take that as a victory in my books.
Well, let's see if one of you guys can. Let's see if one of you
I
guys
was
can.
impressed.
I'll have to see if one of you guys can beat that score in my Jeopardy game next week.
Well, given it won't be college players, I'm hoping I can be a little bit more even, but we'll see.
Nah, it might not be about this season. So
So Gabe's up to 1-1. Devin's 0-1, but next week is redeemed, and I'm 1-0 still.
if I would have started 0-2, and it was like y'all going to see what's undefeated, that'd be awful, man. That'd be awful.
You had a chance to be 2-0 if you would have handled business last week.
Did I have a chance? I don't know if I had a chance. My score got doubled.
He was talking
Somehow,
about yes.
it's gonna come full circle because next week Devin's gonna win.
He might. We'll all be 1-1.
If we're all 1-1, that's balanced podcasting, man. For a guy, I always talk about not caring about college basketball, but I did a lot better than I thought I would, man.
Mans was doing research for real.
Yeah, if nothing else, I improved my college ball knowledge this week, so we'll take that. I think I started quizzes this week at like 15% and got up to 30 something on like 200 and some player lists. So I'll take it.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Right before we started this, I was like, what was the hardest one when Tyrik did his little college, the little TikTok thing? And I'm like, he got stumped on the Hue. And I'm like, oh, he said Lonnie Walker from the U. So that was like the one that I'm like, I feel like he's going to put that for like a 400 or 500, and I'm going to need to get it. And I think it was your 300, but
Yeah,
that one was like the one that I like remembered from your TikTok that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that. I was also expecting like a St. John's, and I think that's like Mo Harkless or somebody random.
I think Mo Harkless, that's the only guy I know off the top.
Yeah. So those two were the two that I expected. I think my favorite pull that I got from that is getting Creighton for Doug McDermott in like 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
When Dev buzzed quickly, I thought, oh, yeah, he got that. Indiana, that's not a – I think you said Indiana. That's not a bad guess.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Not a bad guess.
I knew I probably wasn't going to get it, but I might as well take a shot.
Getting B-ball Paul was crazy, bro. I did not – as soon as you said, like, he might be a third-string center after the trade deadline, then I was like, did the Sixers trade for a center? Like, my mind, like, froze for a second. But because as soon as you said, like, contender, I'm like, there's definitely not somebody on the Bucks or Celtics.
Dev had it. He just had the wrong guy.
Yeah. Idea, wrong team.
Thinking of Furcon.
Get it, that a. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a casual for the fact that like that's a bonus pool. You got it instantly, and I just had no idea. I was like, Gonzaga. I was like, I thought he just came straight from where's he from? Lithuania, something like that.
I think so. Yeah. That's why I threw that on there because I'm like, I figured one of y'all would probably just think, oh, he's straight from overseas.
Sabonis might have been born in Portland actually, I think he
yeah.
went for a while in Lithuania.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, born in Portland. Yeah, I don't know. I tried to make a few shortcut connections through the week, and White Big Man was a Gonzaga connection.
Yeah.
You got him, Kelly O, Zach Collins. Got a few of them.
No, there were some players over the past couple weeks that I was thinking about. I'm like, if I get asked Terry Rozier, I know he went to Louisville.
That's why I'm so disappointed y'all did not get KCP, man. I'm so disappointed.
The most random one that I think I remembered over the week was Reggie Jackson being at Boston College. I don't know why that stuck in my head.
It's crazy. I was gonna include that in the just name a player from this college.
Yeah,
I was gonna include Boston College. I just did it.
Yeah. I will say, some of the difficulty scaling, they'd be like, that's so funny how Sadiq Bey, neither of us could get, but like literally like getting some of the 400s and 500s like instantaneously.
Yeah.
Shows how much we know, man. After you being on me for all this time, I think you finally drilled my brain enough to where I do know some
colleges, man. You gotta know some of them. You never know.
Some of them did take heavy hints though. Like I wasn't getting Kevin Huerter, Paul Reed, or any of those off rip.
Sometimes you need a hint, man. You just never know when somebody's gonna stop you on the street with a camera and a microphone and ask you what college did Terrence Davis go for $1,000. You never know.
And now we do know. Old man.
Someone in my city of 40,000 people ever stops me asking me that, I have a lot of questions.
You are in Canada, though, man, and he's a former Raptor.
He is. This is true.
Don't know if he's a Raptor legend, but
he's a Raptor legend, man. Raptor legend, Terrence Davis.
Yeah, I don't know if we can call him a Raptors legend for the off-court reasons that he left the Raptors. So,
didn't he make like all rookie second team or something weird like that?
He did, yeah.
He was decent, bro. He was a decent bench piece for us, man. I liked him on the roster because
he was solid, but off-court behavior kind of got him pushed out the door a little bit, unfortunately.
All right, man. Dude, I can't wait to get. I might have to make this my next week difficult. What I made it so far, there's some that are like. There's like one I made that's like stupid difficult, and I think some of my 500s are gonna be like stupid.
Oh, God.
Because I'm just thinking if it's you two on current NBA knowledge, I feel like you two, like you guys need like the toughest of tough. Don't be thinking this is kind of hard and y'all are gonna guess it in 2 seconds.
Boo better ask us like who's the 15th leading player in board? Who leads the league in Raptor?
There are some questions on mine that are like, and they're not too difficult, but it's like name every player who fits into like this category.
Every player?
Well, it's like small categories. Say like it was, I don't know, name
like every player that averages like 30 points a game or something like that.
Something like that, or like name like every all-star starter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's like 10 players or less categories.
Okay. About to do some studying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look through the stat leaders for the first time all year.
Look at some trades.
Yeah.
How many second-round picks were traded at the deadline?
Some absurd number.
Screw that. Teams are throwing out like 5 for no reason.
Oh God.
No doubt.
All right, man. Got anything else for today? Seems like we're kind of winding down a little bit.
Nah, man. I'm feeling like I need a nap.
I do not.
Not a bad call.
Like Damon's got me extra sleepy right now, bro.
For real. I got a big drive coming up ahead of me.
Ooh. I'm not leaving until like sometime tomorrow after my interview, which is at like 3. So,
Gotcha.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. Be sure to let us know your pick for the 6th Man of the Year award and your thoughts on the Eastern Conference play-in tournament, as that becomes a race nearly just as interesting as the Western Conference as we come down the stretch. We thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. If you guys have any suggestions for any future trivia or quizzes you would like to see, be sure to let us know down in the comments below. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
All right, man. That was my leg.